Chapter 1. Thoughts on Sanjiang. It was my first time going to Sanjiang, and I was overjoyed. After Friday received the news, he read it twice before he was sure that he had gone to Sanjiang. He was so happy that he couldn't write anything. Here, I want to thank my editor, Long Guang. He's such a good person. Xiaoke was busy previously, so I didn't update the book. I felt bad about it. Here, I want to thank Long Guang. Then I want to thank all the editors in the third group and the chief editor. Finally, I want to thank Shidian, the writing platform, for giving me the opportunity to write in my own world. The results of this book aren't very good, but for a newbie like me, it's enough. The success of this book is all due to everyone's support. Xiaoke would like to thank everyone here. Thank everyone for their favorites, recommendation votes, and clicks. No matter what happens to this book, I will continue to write it. I will strive to write an exciting process, a process that satisfies both you and me, and enjoy the fun of it. This book is called Sanjiang, and there's a Sanjiang vote. Xiaoke hopes that everyone can vote for Wudi, so that his ranking can go up a little, so that more people know about Wudi. Xiaoke wants to thank everyone here. Chapter 2. Thoughts on Sanjiang. It was my first time going to Sanjiang, and I was overjoyed. After Friday received the news, he read it twice before he was sure that he had gone to Sanjiang. He was so happy that he couldn't write anything. Here, I want to thank my editor, Long Guang. He's such a good person. I was busy previously, so I didn't update the book. I felt bad about it. Here, I want to thank Long Guang. Then I want to thank all the editors in the third group and the chief editor. Finally, I want to thank Shidian, the writing platform, for giving me the opportunity to write my own world. The results of this book aren't very good, but for a newcomer like me, it's enough. The current results of this book are all supported by everyone. Here, I want to thank everyone. Thank you for every favorite, every recommendation, and every click. No matter what happens to this book, I will continue to write it. I will strive to write an exciting process, a process that satisfies both you and me, and enjoy the fun of it. This book is called Sanjiang, and there's a Sanjiang vote. I hope that everyone can vote for Invincible, so that his ranking can go up a little, so that more people know about Invincible. Here, I want to thank everyone. Chapter 3. From the 24th to the 27th, I was fortunate enough to go to Changsha, Hunan, to participate in a training course for writers. Although it had only been a few days of training, the benefits brought by the training were definitely not as simple as a few words said. Here, I want to thank them for giving me such a rare opportunity. There are thousands of writers, so one could imagine the importance of a training qualification. To be able to obtain a qualification among the crowd was a complete recognition. For a newcomer like me, the effects of a few days of training were obvious. Before the training, I was just a grassroots author. I didn't have a systematic understanding of the online literature circle. Because of this training, I got to know many authors in the circle. There were many gods among them. Simple chats and simple discussions solved many of my questions and problems. During the training, the thing that benefited me the most was Netherworld by Luo's explanation. This allowed me to have a correct understanding of writing. I was no longer confused and didn't know where to start. In the past, the writing layout was just an illusory fantasy. There was no real goal or direction to focus on. I just wrote randomly, even if the content was unsatisfactory. However, after listening to Teacher by Luo's words, I immediately had relevant concepts in my mind. It was no longer intangible and untouchable. It was like a window paper that could be broken with a poke. This was something he couldn't comprehend alone. Just the writing layout alone was very significant. It allowed me to set a goal for my future writing. I would not be like a headless fly, writing randomly here and there. Writing layout was just one aspect of it, but it had already benefited me immensely. The other aspects, big and small, were all things that I had never heard of before. They opened a door to writing for me and made me realize how I could walk faster on the path of writing. I am grateful to Teacher by Luo for her guidance. It allowed me to truly understand and have a targeted understanding. At the same time, Teacher by Luo systematically explained some important aspects of the online literature circle. It was also something that could not be known elsewhere. Regarding this training, I just want to say it was worth it. Just these 4 words were actually unable to express all the words in my heart. Thank you, Teacher by Luo. Thank you. It was all of you who gave me this opportunity to gain a new understanding of writing. At the same time, I also want to thank the 3 groups, Orchid Elf, Winnie, Little Me, Tianyu, and all the other editors. Chapter 4. Xinjiang, a place with beautiful scenery. As a Zhejiang native, I've yearned for this place for a long time. When I was young, I read Li Bai's poem, Sleepwalking Heavenly Mother's recital of farewell. It was still fresh in my memory. Even now, I still remember the beautiful lines of the poem, as expected of the immortal of poetry, especially a few lines that I haven't forgotten. Wearing Siegon's clogs, my body ascending the Qingyan ladder. Half the wall sees the sun, and in the sky hears the rooster. Just because of these few lines, I learned of this place when I was young. From then on, I wanted to go to this place. In addition to the mountains and rivers, there are also famous Buddhist sites. There are also famous mountains and sceneries that make great poets linger on and forget to return. In May of this year, Qidian held a grand gathering event. It finally gave me the opportunity to realize my dream. After packing my luggage, I set off with a restless heart. Since it had been raining for several days, when we arrived at Xinjiang, the air was filled with the smell of rain. It was drizzling, which gave me a new understanding of Xinjiang. After we arrived at the designated place to stay, we rested for a while. Then, we enjoyed our first sumptuous lunch. We had authentic Xinjiang delicacies, such as the fruit juice made from mulberries. It had a unique taste, and it tasted really good. In addition, we also had the local specialty, peanuts. At first, I was skeptical about the peanuts. Later on, I learned that they were the local specialty. In ancient times, they had to offer them as offerings. After the welcome banquet, we went to the first place of the day. It was the most famous place in Xinjiang, the great Buddhist temple of Xinjiang. It was raining outside. Under the guidance of the tour bus, we arrived at the gate of the great Buddhist temple of Xinjiang. Since it was raining, there weren't many people here. For tourists, a rainy day was a different kind of trip. The great Buddhist temple was founded in the first year of the Eastern Jin dynasty. It had a history of more than 1,600 years. According to the biography of the eminent monk, in 345 AD, the eminent monk Tanguang wanted to experience the strange mountains and rivers of eastern Zhejiang. He was especially affected by the famous eminent monks Zhu Daoqian and Ji Dun, who had returned to eastern Zhejiang. Tanguang lived in a stone room and built the Inuit temple. That was the beginning of the great Buddhist temple of Xinjiang. Today, a new section of the city wall had been built outside the scenic area. The city gate tower was tall and imposing, which made people yearn to go there. After entering the gate of the scenic area, it was drizzling. There were not many pedestrians, but it could be seen that this was a beautiful place with a tranquil atmosphere everywhere. First, on a mountain beside the road, there was a huge Buddha character that could calm people's hearts. Standing in front of this Buddha character, all the agitation seemed to recede, as if facing an eminent monk. You couldn't help but smile. This Buddha thing was really very spiritual. This Buddha character was a famous scenic spot, the Buddha Heart Square. The so-called Buddha Heart Square was only because of the word Buddha and the word heart. On the cliff, there was a 20-meter-tall Buddha character engraved. This was the handwriting of Master Hong Yi. In front of the Buddha character rock, a lotus fountain was built. Crystal clear spring water gushed out from the heart of the lotus carved from white marble, sprinkling tranquility and freshness. After seeing the Buddha character rock, we passed by a lake. It was also a famous place. It was called the Pond of Release, a place where people could inherit good wishes. It was a pity that the heavens didn't favor us, and we couldn't see the released tortoise. Although I didn't see the tortoise, my mood wasn't affected. After all, I was here to see the Buddha statue, which was the most important thing. When the monastery appeared, the smell of incense permeated the air. I also saw the legendary Face the Wall. It was the real Face the Wall. I seemed to understand one thing. Face the Wall wasn't just a simple face the wall. After listening to the guide's words, I understood that these two characters had a special meaning. It turned out they were written by the ancient Mifu. Mifu's Face the Wall wasn't for the monks and tourists to reflect on their mistakes. It was for the Maitreya Buddha to face the wall and repent for his mistakes. Because he had occupied the hall of great strength and sat on the throne, what did he do to the Buddha, Gautama Buddha? Of course, because of this, the hall of great strength was several feet lower than the ground. After passing the face-the-wall character, we walked up the stairs to enter the hall of great strength. Here, we had to walk down the stairs to enter the hall of great strength. The Maitreya statue here was carved from the Maitreya grotto. The entire Buddha statue was connected to the mountain. Although it had experienced the vicissitudes of life for more than 1,600 years, the Buddha still looked dignified, elegant, and handsome. Coincidentally, we ran into the abbot, who specially prepared a Buddhist ritual for us. It was very solemn and grand, so we followed him in. We saw 3 great Buddhas, but they weren't real great Buddhas, but we had a taste of the real Buddhist flavor. After leaving the hall of great strength, we went straight to the great Buddhist temple. It was raining outside, but the drizzle couldn't stop our enthusiasm. The abbot was waiting for us at the door. We followed him and saw a giant Buddhist statue. It was shining with dazzling golden light. It was the main character of the day, Shinchong Buddha. Inside the pavilion, a stone Maitreya Buddha sat cross-legged in a grotto on a steep cliff. The Buddha statue was 2 meters tall and 74 meters tall. Its head was 8 meters tall, and its ears were 8 meters long. The distance between its knees was the only remnant of the early grotto statues of our country in the south. It was known as the #1 Buddha in Jiangnan. The abbot wore a solemn face. After explaining, we went to burn incense. This was the first time we had learned about such a rule. Buddhist culture was more strict and solemn than we had imagined. It wasn't as simple as we had imagined. After burning incense, we left the temple. We were still savoring the solemnity and dignity of the Buddha statue. After the great Buddhist temple, we went to a few other places. At the same time, we left our Tang Dynasty poems. They could be considered treasures, although I didn't know how they would look like when I wrote them. After leaving our treasures, we had to see the #1 reclining Buddha in Asia. I heard that he had invested more than 30 million renminbi in it. We walked along the plank path. Soon, we arrived at the reclining Buddha hall. Gautama Buddha was lying on the Shumi lotus throne. The Buddha statue was 37 meters long and 9 meters tall. It was carved from the rock of the cave. The Buddha statue's face was like a full moon. Its eyelids were slightly drooping, and its right hand was resting on its head, while its left hand was naturally placed by its side. Its body was well-proportioned, and its posture was natural. Its face was serene, showing the artistic charm of Gautama Buddha's parinirvana. Standing in front of the hall, we could lean against the railing and look into the distance. We could see the open-air Maitreya temple in the distance. Green mountains stretched as far as our eyes could see. The water was as clear as a mirror, and the black tiles and yellow walls were nestled in the green. A wisp of auspicious light shrouded the temple, which made people forget about worldly thoughts. The reclining Buddha hall was surrounded by greenery. The mirror-like lake in front of the hall was so clear that one could see the bottom. Schools of fish swam in the lake. There were carved balustrades and stone bridges on the lake. The wide lawn was planted with exotic flowers and trees. It was a wonderful place to travel and relax. After coming out of the great Buddha temple, one naturally could not avoid going to another special place in Xinjiang, the legendary Mount Tianmu. This was a place that one must visit after coming to Xinjiang. It was said that one could not be a true man who did not climb the Great Wall. Similarly, coming to Xinjiang and not going to Mount Tianmu was equivalent to not experiencing the road to azure clouds that Li Bai spoke of, because the road to azure clouds was at Mount Tianmu. Mount Tianmu got its name from Queen Mother of the West. It was the main mountain in Xinjiang, Shaoxing. It was formed by the cloud-piercing, thin-piercing, big-piercing, and other mountains. It was a continuous chain of peaks with a majestic aura. Early the next morning, we departed from Mount Tianmu. Before we went there, we revisited the ancient post road that led to the capital. It was the same as the provincial roads of today. It was hard to imagine how the ancients had built such an ancient road. We walked on the broad, ancient post road that was around 35 kilometers long. We passed through many places along the way. Due to our limited time, we had only gone through a part of it. We knew some stories, especially the Peach Blossom Cave and Sima's Regret Bridge, which were very meaningful. Only when you were on Mount Tianmu did you know how much the ancients had yearned for nature. Mount Tianmu lived up to the name of nature's uncanny workmanship. After this trip, you would know that it wasn't a wasted trip. You would know what true nature was. After we went to Mount Tianmu, we had to mention an important place. It was a special feature of Xinjiang, tea leaves. Of course, there was no need to mention the tea leaves. A famous tea was produced in a place like Xinjiang, Big Buddha Longjing. Speaking of Big Buddha Longjing, we had to go to another place. It was the next part of our itinerary, Ozu Lake Scenic Area. Ozu Lake Scenic Area was located 12 kilometers southeast of Xinjiang, Zhejiang. It was one of the 3 provincial scenic areas in Xinjiang. The scenic area mainly included Ozu Lake and Mount Tianmu, with a total area of more than 50 square kilometers. Only by sitting on a boat and admiring everything on Ozu Lake would you understand what it meant to be an outstanding place. Xinjiang didn't only have the #1 reclining Buddha in Asia, but it also had tea leaves that were closely related to the tea ceremony. At the same time, you could see the entire Mount Tianmu in its entirety. After tasting the green tea, I felt refreshed. It was as if I could see the grand occasion when hundreds of poets had gathered at Ozu Lake. I felt like I had become one of them, writing my own ancient poems. After tasting the green tea, we went to a famous place on the island called Blue Cloud Villa. We sat by the lake and drank the scholar's tea, enjoying the sunset. In the evening, we went to have a barbecue. A large group of people was having a barbecue. The scene was spectacular. We didn't leave until late at night. After touring around Ozu Lake, I was excited. I didn't know when I would be able to visit such a beautiful place again. After touring around these places, we had to go to another place. It was the famous tea trading base in Xinjiang, also known as China's Tea Market. Here, you would see merchants from all over the country. It was the biggest tea trade. The dazzling array of tea leaves would let you know what tea leaves were and what tea ceremony culture was. Since we arrived late, the scene wasn't as lively as we had imagined. However, we could still see that tea leaves had become an indispensable item. We took some photos as souvenirs and left the place. The next place was also very meaningful. It was called Dali Silk Base. It had a very orthodox reputation. In fact, it was a place where silk was collected. As soon as we entered the base, we saw many tall mulberry trees. These mulberry trees had been collected from all over the world, forming a mulberry kingdom. As we walked further, I was shocked again. I saw mulberry fossils that were more than 100 million years old. People like me didn't know that mulberry trees could turn into fossils and that they could live for more than 100 million years. It was an unimaginable miracle. In the Dali Silk Ecological Garden, we saw the mulberry tree king and the mulberry tree queen. They were unimaginable existences that had been transplanted from other places. Since we had arrived at the right time, the mulberry trees in the ecological garden still had mulberries hanging on them. We tasted them again. The taste was unique. After eating the mulberries, we had to observe the process of making silk. At the same time, silkworms were gorging themselves on the silk. They were ready to turn into cocoons and spit out silk. For people who had never seen such a scene, it was absolutely fascinating. However, as a Zhejiang native, I was used to seeing such a scene. The ancient craftsmanship had been replaced by machines. The Dali Silk Garden happened to have machines that couldn't be compared to manual labor. Under the guide's guidance, we went upstairs to see all kinds of silk products, such as quilts, bed sheets, ties, cheongsam, and so on. It was an eye-opener, and I hated that I couldn't take all of them back. At noon, we had lunch at the Ecological Garden Hotel. There were some famous snacks, such as fried mulberry leaves, which you couldn't imagine. There was also silkworm chrysalis, which had a high protein content. However, no one dared to eat it, as they thought it tasted too strong. I ate some myself, and the taste wasn't bad. At least, it was my first time eating it. It turned out it wasn't as horrible as I had imagined. As the hotel ended, our trip to Xinjiang also came to an end. Time passed quickly, and we visited many places. Xinjiang was full of shadows. The mountains and rivers weaved together to form a beautiful image that people would never forget. While walking, I suddenly heard a few words. I smiled. Perhaps these words represented everything. Chapter 5. They're the bottleneck in leveling up. I can level up by killing a few more experts. Bookid equals 2982187. Book name equals Unrivaled Spirit God. My friend Yeshuahin's new book, the creator unintentionally fusing with the origin source of the universe and starting a life of invincibility. Chapter 6. P.S. There was a problem with the mouse yesterday, so I used the keyboard to copy it. In the end, I realized that the chapters were all the same when I was writing this morning. I'm sorry, everyone. Lin Fei, long time no see. Empyrean God Li Shan blocked an attack and turned to Lin Fei with a radiant smile. This fellow, who had made him suffer a great loss before, was gnashing his teeth at him. This was the first time he had suffered such a great loss since his reincarnation. Lin Fei laughed. Fellow Li Shan, it seems like you are also here for me. Fellow Lin Fei is indeed a smart person. I haven't even said it, and you already know my goal. Empyrean God Li Shan clapped his hands and said, "Who asked you to bring something that we are interested in? As long as you hand it over, I won't attack you." Li Shan, don't you have any shame? I discovered Lin Fei first. What right do you have to interfere? Empyrean God Black Sage's face darkened, and he was very angry. Another strong enemy had appeared, and it wouldn't be easy to deal with him. Moreover, Lin Fei wasn't easy to deal with either. Empyrean God Li Shan didn't care about Empyrean God Black Sage's gaze. You said that you discovered Lin Fei, and I said that I discovered him. If you want to capture Lin Fei, it will depend on who has the ability. If you have the ability, you don't have to wait until now. Good. Back then, you were weaker than me, and now you are still weaker than me. It won't be too late for me to deal with him after I get rid of you. Empyrean God Black Sage raised a sword and pierced it towards Empyrean God Li Shan. Empyrean God Li Shan didn't panic, and he also took out a low-grade divine artifact, long sword, and faced Empyrean God Black Sage. I also want to see who is stronger, you or me. I've been waiting for this day for a long time. Pung pung. The two swords collided, and a terrifying wave of air was created. Both of them were experts in the use of swords, and the sword techniques they used were very sharp. Streaks of sword will flew across the sky, and the place where they landed was filled with terrifying sword will. If a half-step Empyrean God came here, he would be killed with a single strike. The two of you better fight to the death. Lin Fei didn't plan to interfere. It'd be best if the two of them were both injured, which would save him a lot of trouble. Hua! Suddenly, a chill came from behind. In the void, a dark golden light flashed and hit Lin Fei's back. The Empyrean God battle armor appeared and blocked the opponent's sword. A scream came from the void, and it quickly disappeared. Lin Fei blinked. It seems like I've really become a big fat sheep. Come out! Lin Fei slashed at a certain spot, and the saber light swept across the sky. The void under the starry sky shattered, and a figure fell out. A strange look flashed in his eyes, and he didn't hesitate to attack Lin Fei. Double dragon kill. This person was also a young master that Lin Fei knew. Empyrean God Kong Sheng was a disciple of the holy demon overlord, and he was also an Empyrean God now. Swoosh! Empyrean God Kong Sheng used two daggers, one long and one short. The daggers danced, and one blood-colored dragon after another flew out. There were more than 100 blood-colored dragons, and each of them contained a terrifying attack power. There's no need to hide. Come out, all of you. If you want my life, you're not enough. Lin Fei laughed loudly. The void around him shattered, and one black hole after another appeared, devouring the blood-colored dragons. Not a single one of the 100 blood-colored dragons was able to get close to Lin Fei. Empyrean God Kong Sheng's expression changed repeatedly. He lost connection to his killer moves, as though they had been banished. Empyrean God Li Shan and Empyrean God Black Saint also discovered that Empyrean God Kong Sheng had appeared, and they cursed him in their hearts for being shameless. Did he want to launch a sneak attack while they were fighting? Swoosh! 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 As Lin Fei's voice rang out, two more auras appeared in the void. They didn't hesitate at all, and they immediately attacked Lin Fei. Bind. One of them tore open an immortal talisman, opened his mouth, and roared. A golden light flew out and swept towards Lin Fei, wrapping him tightly like a dumpling. Another person took out a black barrier, and the heavens and earth instantly darkened. It covered the location where Lin Fei was, and even the starry sky trembled. When the two of them attacked, it could be said that they caught everyone off guard. I already said that Lin Fei was just lucky. As soon as we attacked, he was still captured without putting up a fight. The expert who took out the immortal talisman was Empyrean God Goldfeather, and he had a grudge against Lin Fei. It's all thanks to Taoist Kong Sheng. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to catch them off guard. The other Empyrean god was the 10th young master. Her entire being was as cold as a 10,000-year-old snow mountain. In the blink of an eye, 5 heavenly gods appeared. Furthermore, they were from the 10 great young masters. After all, these were 5 Empyrean gods. Empyrean god Blacksage and Empyrean god Lishan were very dissatisfied. In the end, they had worked hard for nothing. They had acted as bait, and in the end, they had benefited others. You aren't being kind. Empyrean god Lishan laughed coldly. We were the ones who took a fancy to Lin Fei first. Are the 3 of you looking down on us? Empyrean god Blacksage was quite angry, and his cold gaze swept across the 3 of them. Empyrean god Goldfeather glanced at him. Lin Fei, we captured him. What do you do about it? Myriad demon fists. Empyrean god Goldfeather was a baleful person to begin with. Now that he had become an Empyrean god, how could he be frightened by Empyrean god Blacksage's words? Without saying a word, he charged over. The fist light transformed into myriad demons, bear demons, bird demons, and all of them howled unceasingly, forming a black mass. You don't know the meaning of death. Empyrean god Blacksage let out a cold snort, displaying his majesty. Major destruction sword. A sword cleaved through the air. An aura of destruction was able to slay the black mass of demons with a single sword strike, and the remnant power didn't stop there as it shot straight towards Empyrean god Goldfeather. Perfect timing. Empyrean god Goldfeather punched out once more. The other 10th young master immediately attacked as well, his face as cold as ice. Icebound 10,000 kilometers. This was one of the supreme techniques of the divine Heaven Palace. Even the starry skies could be frozen. Once an immortal expert was frozen, his life aura would cease to exist. The 10th young master's target was Empyrean god Blacksage. Empyrean god Blacksage's feet were frozen, and the white ice began to assault his body. Even though Empyrean god Blacksage used his divine power to shatter the ice, he was still unable to stop the invasion of the ice. Li Shan, you are doing this for Lin Fei, and I'm doing this for Lin Fei as well. As long as you make a move and capture Lin Fei, we will split the benefits equally. Empyrean god felt the pressure. Both of them were Empyrean gods, but 2 against 1 was indeed too much. Really, as long as you make a move, I will give you 50% of the benefits. 50% is not enough. I want 60%. 18 clones, I want 10. Empyrean god Li Shan demanded an exorbitant price. Empyrean god Blacksage's eyes were almost spewing fire. What a shameless fellow. He was profiting from a burning house. Empyrean god Blacksage knew what Li Shan was thinking, but he could only endure for now. After I deal with them, I will see if you have the ability to get 10 clones. Fine, I agree. Deal. Empyrean god Li Shan also made a move, sweeping his sword at the 10th young master. Every move was sharp, forcing the 10th young master to be distracted. Master, you are becoming more and more popular. In the distant void, Lin Fei's figure was faintly discernible, and the surrounding space was constantly changing. Who asked me to be so handsome? Master is a narcissist. Little fiend said in disdain. Lin Fei looked at the battle on the battlefield and lightly shook his head. Their strength is not bad, but it is a pity that I have grasped spatial and temporal techniques, and they are both top-notch. Their attacks are not a threat to me. Chapter 7. The heavens gave me the investiture of the gods. With one skill, I can become a god. Meng Chao obtained the God's investiture system by chance, and it granted him supreme authority in the God's investiture space. He could search for any talented person from ancient times until now and help them become gods. And before he became a god, Meng Chao could also quickly learn the skills they were good at in the investiture of the god space. He could search the souls of any skill he needed. Anyone who wants to compete with me, listen up. I specialize in dealing with all kinds of people who refuse to submit to me. From then on, an unprecedented all-rounder in the city was born. Chapter 8. From the 24th to the 27th, I was fortunate enough to go to Changsha, Hunan, to participate in a writer's training class. Although it was only a few days of training, the benefits brought by the training were not as simple as a few words said. Here, I want to thank you for giving me such a rare opportunity. There are thousands of writers, and the importance of a training qualification could be imagined. To be able to obtain a qualification among the crowd was a complete recognition. For a newcomer like me, the effects of a few days of training were obvious. Before the training, I was just a grassroots author. I didn't have a systematic understanding of the online literature circle. Because of this training, I got to know many authors in the circle. There were many gods among them. Simple chats and simple discussions solved many of my questions and problems. During the training, the most rewarding thing for me was Netherworld by Luo's explanation. This allowed me to have a correct understanding of writing. I was no longer confused and didn't know where to start. In the past, just the writing layout was just an illusory fantasy. There was no substantive goal or focus direction. I just randomly wrote, even if the content was unsatisfactory. But after listening to Teacher by Luo's words, my mind immediately had relevant concepts. It was no longer intangible and untouchable like a window paper that could be poked through. This was something I couldn't understand alone. Just the writing layout alone was of great significance. It allowed me to completely set a goal for my future writing. I wouldn't be a headless fly, randomly writing here and there. Writing layout was just one of the aspects that I had already benefited me immensely. The other aspects, big and small, were all things that I had never heard of before. They opened a door to writing for me and made me realize how I could walk faster on the path of writing. I am grateful to Teacher by Luo Huangquan for her pointers. She allowed me to truly understand and have a targeted understanding. At the same time, Teacher by Luo systematically explained some important aspects of the online literature circle, which were also not known elsewhere. For this training, I only want to say value for money. Just these 4 words were actually unable to express all the words in my heart. Thank you, Teacher by Luo. Thank you. It was you who gave me this opportunity to gain a new understanding of writing. At the same time, I also want to thank the 3 groups, Orchid Elf, Winnie, Xiaomi, Tianyu, and all the other editors. Chapter 9. 3 days later, in the morning, the Divine Martial Gate was the same as usual. The outer sect disciples did what they were supposed to do. Everything was progressing in an orderly manner. Outer sect disciples could be seen everywhere, busying themselves with their daily missions. As long as an outer sect disciple did not become an inner sect disciple, they could not be exempted from their daily missions. This was the iron rule of the Divine Martial Gate. Among the outer sect disciples, those with outstanding talent could be exempted from their daily missions. This was their only privilege. Among the mountains, on a winding mountain path, the mountain wind blew, lifting up countless fallen leaves. At this moment, a youth with an extremely poor complexion was walking down the mountain path. Sometimes he would frown, and sometimes he would relax. It felt very strange. The youth's expression was very focused. Occasionally, his eyes would reveal shock. If someone's ears were sensitive, they would definitely hear the youth muttering to himself, "Damn, the Divine Martial Gate is so rich." Just by casually walking around the mountains and rivers, they have become the property of the Divine Martial Gate. If they built a villa on the mountain, they would definitely make a lot of money. Compared to this, those Dogsh * T mansions aren't even on the same level. Look at this scenery. Towering mountains. What Dogsh * T scenery? District 3A is nothing compared to this. At the beginning, there weren't many people on the mountain path. As they approached the Divine Martial Gate's mission area, The number of outer sect disciples on the mountain path gradually increased, and all sorts of noises could be heard. Look at that sickly invalid. Isn't that Lin Fei? Some gossipy outer sect disciple suddenly shouted when he saw Lin Fei. The gazes of the outer sect disciples on the mountain path all landed on Lin Fei. It was as if they were looking at a monster, and soon after, all of them started to mock him. Lin Fei? That idiot Lin Fei? Who else could it be other than him? I can't believe that he's still alive after taking 3 attacks. He's really lucky. Look at his complexion. There's an 80% chance that he's not far from death. He's only at the 2nd heavenly layer of the martial path to challenge the 4th heavenly layer of the martial path. Does he really think that he's a peerless genius? When those outer sect disciples saw an opportunity to mock Lin Fei, they didn't mind saying all sorts of malicious words, as if they were afraid that others wouldn't know. A bunch of fools. Lin Fei's mental fortitude was tough. What did rumors count for? As a university student of the 21st century, he had a thick mental fortitude that outsiders couldn't match. A little mockery was nothing to him. At the same time, Lin Fei looked down on them. They were a bunch of people with dark hearts who had nowhere to vent their anger. They felt like they were scoundrels who read books on the internet and specialized in scolding others. They scolded others' books until there was nothing good about them. Facing a bunch of scolding people with abnormal minds, Lin Fei magnanimously forgave them. Pourwa, Divine Martial Sect, Mission Region. Those who lost the monthly competition would have to go to the Divine Martial Sect to receive missions. Only after completing the missions could they continue cultivating. This was a form of supervision and punishment by the Divine Martial Sect. It had always been hated by the outer sect disciples. You're that Lin Fei who overestimates himself? Lin Fei listened to the fattie's arrogant manner. If they were in university, he would definitely leave a punch on the bridge of the fattie's nose. This wasn't the way to act cool. I'm Lin Fei. The fattie's eyes narrowed into slits. He took out a book and searched for a while before taking out a sheepskin scroll. He looked at it with surprise and threw out a black iron plate. Low-tier demonic beasts region. Slaughter demonic beasts for half a month. Lin Fei had heard the news from an expert. He wasn't too surprised as he received the iron plate. I understand. From the beginning to the end, Lin Fei had been extremely calm. After receiving the iron plate, he turned around and left, walking towards the low-tier demonic beasts region. Lin Fei, Lin Fei. Who asked you to be so reckless and offend a few outer sect senior brothers? Don't even think about completing the mission in half a month. You can stay in the low-tier demonic beast region for the rest of your life as a butcher. However, looking at your complexion, it's hard to say if you can survive. Who? Lin Fei let out a long breath. Looking at the blue sky and white clouds above his head, a trace of determination flashed in his eyes. Damn it. It's a tragedy to be weak. However, I won't admit defeat. I will definitely find an opportunity to stand out. Relying on his memory, Lin Fei walked around for an hour before arriving at the low-tier demonic beast arena. Before he even entered, a dense smell of blood assaulted his nose, nearly suffocating him. The low-tier demonic beast arena housed a large number of low-tier demonic beasts. Through special feeding, they would eventually become food for the Divine Martial Sect's senior and junior brothers. The flesh and blood of these low-tier demonic beasts had the effect of strengthening one's chi and blood. Their fur was also a huge source of income for the Divine Martial Sect. Change your clothes and get to work. Lin Fei endured the smell of blood. After explaining his purpose, he was immediately taken away by a senior brother steward. A set of clothes made of an unknown beast hide and a short knife that looked like a kitchen knife. It was an essential tool for a butcher. Lin Fei swiftly changed his clothes and carried the demonic beast knife. He was brought to the front of the wooden block for slaughter. The wooden block was like a huge plate, and the chopping board was covered in blood, leaving behind mottled cracks. In the distance, many outer disciples were looking at this newcomer with schadenfreude. There's another newcomer, but he looks too weak. What are those people up there doing? Even this kind of person was sent here. Later on, when he kills the furry ducks, he might be bitten to death by the furry ducks. That's interesting. I'll bet one silvertail that this kid can't even kill a single furry duck. Who dares to bet with me? One silvertail, I'll bet. Hearing the mockery, Lin Fei felt disdain in his heart. When I get angry, I even dare to kill people. Isn't it just a mutated duck? It's not like I haven't killed one before. Lin Fei took a deep breath and grabbed the furry duck in the cage. It was said to be a grade 1 demonic beast, and it was similar to the ducks on Earth. It had great strength, sharp claws, and delicious meat. It was the favorite meat of many disciples. Quack, quack, quack. The furry duck flapped its wings, trying to escape from Lin Fei's hand. However, the immense force nearly caused Lin Fei to lose his grip. In an instant, a few wounds appeared on Lin Fei's hand, causing the crowd to burst into laughter. You're courting death. Lin Fei's face darkened as he flung the furry duck onto the chopping board with all his might. Despite having changed his body, Lin Fei nimbly raised the demonic beast saber in his hand and slashed at the furry duck's neck. In an instant, blood splattered everywhere. Due to Lin Fei not being able to dodge in time, some of the blood splattered onto his face, making him look exceptionally hideous. Right at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Beep. Upgrade system. Version 0 officially activated. Game loading. Loading complete. Data loading input. Beep. Upgrade system 0. Update complete. Launch complete. Successfully killed grade 1 demonic beast, furry duck. Obtained 10 experience points. After slaughtering a grade 1 demonic beast, Lin Fei's body was already weak. After killing the demonic beast with a single slash, his hands slumped weakly on the chopping board. His entire being was in a state of shock. The unknown voice was like a demonic voice, giving off a sense of familiarity. F*CK. Isn't this the upgrade system that I used to fix bugs at the last minute? Lin Fei finally recalled that when he went back to check for bugs in the game, it was a game called Invincible Upgrade. It was this game that allowed him to become a member of the army of transmigrators. Before Lin Fei could digest the sudden change and understand why it had happened to him, the cold mechanical voice rang out once more. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the Upgrade System version 0 Update Gift Pack. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining 100 Taels of Silver. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining 10 Qi Gathering Pills. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the first layer of the Martial Path as a reward, 1 Marrow Cleansing Pill, and 300 Taels of Silver. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the second layer of the Martial Path as a reward, 3 Meridian Expanding Pills, and 500 Taels of Silver. Lin Fei's eyebrows twitched. He grinned widely. Chapter 10. Xinjiang was a place with beautiful scenery. As a Zhejiang native, I had longed to visit this place for a long time. When I was young, I had read Li Bai's poem, Farewell, in my dream. It was still fresh in my memory. Even now, I could still remember those beautiful lines. He was worthy of being called an immortal poet, especially a few lines that I had never forgotten. Wearing Xiegong's clogs, I climbed the Qingyan stairs. Half of the walls saw the sun, and in the sky, I heard the rooster. Because of these few lines, I knew about this place when I was young. Since then, I had wanted to visit this place. In addition to these mountains and rivers, there were also famous Buddhist scenic spots that made great poets linger on and forget to return, and the famous mountain scenery that their souls were linked to. In May of this year, Qidian held a gathering event that finally gave me a chance to realize my dream. I packed my luggage and set off with a restless heart. Since it had been raining for days, when we arrived at Xinjiang, the air was filled with the smell of rain. It was drizzling, which gave me a new understanding of Xinjiang. After we arrived at the designated place to stay, we rested for a while. Then, we enjoyed our first sumptuous lunch, which consisted of authentic Xinjiang delicacies. For example, the fruit juice made from mulberries had a unique taste. Other than that, we also had the local specialty, peanuts. At first, I was skeptical about the peanuts. Later on, I learned that they were local specialties. In ancient times, they had to offer them as offerings. After the welcome banquet, we went to the first place of the day. It was also the most famous place in Xinjiang, the great Buddhist temple. It was raining outside. Under the guidance of the tour bus, we arrived at the gate of the great Buddhist temple. Since it was raining, there weren't many people here. For tourists, a rainy day was also a different experience. The great Buddhist temple was founded in the first year of Yonghe in the Eastern Jin dynasty. It had a history of more than 1,600 years. According to the biography of the eminent monk, in 345 AD, the eminent monk Tanguang came to Shiqing Mountain because he wanted to experience the strange mountains and rivers of eastern Zhejiang. He was especially influenced by the eminent monks Zhu Daoqian and Ji Dun, who had returned to eastern Zhejiang. Tanguang lived in a stone room and built the Inuit temple. That was the beginning of the great Buddhist temple in Xinjiang. Today, a new city wall had been built outside the scenic area. The city tower was tall and majestic. Standing on the tower made people yearn to go there. After entering the gate of the scenic area, it was drizzling. There were not many pedestrians, but one could see that this was a beautiful place with a tranquil atmosphere. First, he saw a huge Buddha character on a mountain by the side of the road. It was a character that could calm one's heart. Standing in front of this Buddha character, all the agitation seemed to recede. It was as if he was standing in front of an enlightened monk. He couldn't help but smile. This Buddha thing was really very spiritual. This Buddha was a famous scenic spot, the Buddha Heart Square. The so-called Buddha Heart Square was only because of the word Buddha and the word heart. The word Buddha was engraved on the cliff. It was the handwriting of Master Hongyi. A lotus fountain was built in front of the rock with the word Buddha written on it. Crystal clear spring water gushed out from the center of the white marble lotus, sprinkling tranquility and freshness. After seeing the word Buddha, he passed by a lake. It was also a rather famous place called the Pond of Release. It was a place where one could inherit one's good wishes. It was a pity that the heavens weren't on their side, and they couldn't see the tortoises that were set free. Although I didn't see the tortoise, my mood wasn't affected. After all, I was here to see the Buddha statue, which was the most important thing. When the Buddhist temple appeared, it was filled with the smell of incense. I also saw the legendary words, "Face the wall." It was the real word, "face the wall." I seemed to understand one thing. Facing the wall wasn't just simply facing the wall. After listening to the guide's words, I understood that these two words had an extraordinary meaning. It turned out they were the words left behind by the ancient Mifu. Mifu didn't want the monks and tourists to reflect on their mistakes. He wanted the Maitreya Buddha to face the wall and repent for his mistakes. Because he had occupied the Mahavira Hall and sat on the throne, what did he do to the Buddha? Gautama Buddha? Of course, because of this, the Mahavira Hall was a few feet lower than the ground. After passing the word, "face the wall," we walked up the stairs to enter the Mahavira Hall. Here, we had to walk down the stairs to enter the Mahavira Hall. The Maitreya statue here was carved in the Maitreya Grotto. The entire Buddha statue was connected to the mountain. Although it had experienced the vicissitudes of life for more than 1,600 years, it still looked solemn, elegant, and handsome. Coincidentally, we ran into the abbot, who specially prepared a Buddhist ritual for us. It was very solemn and grand, so we followed him in. We saw 3 great Buddhas, but they weren't real great Buddhas, but we had a taste of the real Buddhist flavor. After leaving the Mahavira Hall, we went straight to the great Buddhist temple. It was raining outside. The drizzle couldn't stop our enthusiasm. The abbot was waiting for us at the door. We followed him and saw a big Buddha statue. It was a dazzling Jingguang, emitting dazzling light. It was the main character of the day, Xinjiang Buddha. Inside the pavilion, a stone Maitreya Buddha sat cross-legged in a grotto on a steep cliff. The Buddha statue was 2 meters tall and 74 meters tall. Its head was 8 meters tall, and its ears were 8 meters long. The distance between its knees was the only remnant of the early Buddhist grotto statues in the south. It was known as the first Buddha in Jiangnan. The abbot wore a solemn face. After explaining, we went to burn incense. This was the first time we had learned about such a rule. Buddhist culture was more strict and solemn than we had imagined. It wasn't as simple as we had imagined. After burning incense, we left the temple, still savoring the solemnity of the Buddha statue. After the great Buddhist temple, we went to a few other places. At the same time, we left our Tang poems. They could be considered treasures, although I didn't know how they would look like. After leaving our treasures, we had to see the first reclining Buddha in Asia. It was said that we had invested more than 30 million renminbi. We walked up the stairs and soon reached the reclining Buddha hall. Gautama Buddha was lying on the lotus throne. The Buddha statue was 37 meters long and 9 meters tall. It was carved from the rock of the grotto. The statue's face was like a full moon. Its eyelids were drooping, and its right hand was resting on its head. Its left hand was naturally folded by its side. Its body was well-proportioned, and its posture was natural. Its expression was serene, showing the artistic charm of Gautama Buddha's parinirvana. Standing in front of the hall, we could lean against the railing and look into the distance. The open-air Maitreya Buddha was in sight. Green mountains stretched as far as the eye could see. The water was as clear as a mirror, and the roof tiles and yellow walls were nestled in the lush greenery. A wisp of auspicious light shrouded the temple. The reclining Buddha hall was surrounded by greenery. The lake in front of the hall was so clear that you could see the bottom. Schools of fish swam in the lake. There were carved railings and stone bridges on the lake. The wide lawn was planted with exotic flowers and trees. It was a perfect place to travel and relax. After leaving the great Buddhist temple, we couldn't miss another special place in Xinjiang, the legendary Mount Tianmu. It was a place we had to visit after arriving in Xinjiang. As the saying goes, one can't be a real man without climbing the Great Wall. If we didn't go to Mount Tianmu after coming to Xinjiang, it meant that we hadn't experienced the blue cloud path that Li Bai had mentioned. It was because the blue cloud path was on Mount Tianmu. Mount Tianmu got its name from Queen Mother of the West. It was the main mountain in Xinjiang, Shaoxing. It was made up of Poking Cloud Peak, Thin Peak, Big Peak, and other mountains. The next morning, we departed for Mount Tianmu. Before we went there, we revisited the old post road. It was a road that could take us all the way to the capital. It was similar to the provincial roads of today. It was hard to imagine how the ancients had built such an ancient road. We walked on the wide old post road, which was about 35 kilometers long. We passed through many places. Due to our limited time, we had only gone through a part of it. We knew some stories, especially the Peach Blossom Cave and Sima Regret Bridge, which were very meaningful. Only when you were on Mount Tianmu did you understand the ancients' yearning for nature. Mount Tianmu lived up to its name. It was the uncanny workmanship of nature. After coming here, you knew that it wasn't a wasted trip. After we went to Mount Tianmu, we had to mention an important place. It was a specialty of Xinjiang, tea leaves. Of course, there was no need to mention the tea leaves. Xinjiang produced a famous tea, Big Buddha Dragon Well. Speaking of Big Buddha Dragon Well, we had to go to another place. It was the Ozu Lake Scenic Area. The Ozu Lake Scenic Area was located 12 kilometers southeast of Xinjiang, Zhejiang. It was one of the 3 provincial scenic areas in Xinjiang. The scenic area mainly included Ozu Lake and Mount Tianmu, which covered an area of more than 50 square kilometers. Sitting on the boat and enjoying the scenery on Ozu Lake, you would understand what it meant to be a place of great talents. Xinjiang didn't only have the first reclining Buddha in Asia, but it also had tea leaves that were closely related to the tea ceremony. At the same time, you could see the entire Mount Tianmu, which made your imagination run wild. After tasting the green tea, I felt refreshed. It was as if I could see the grand occasion when hundreds of poets had gathered at Ozu Lake. I felt like I had become one of them, writing my own ancient poems. After tasting the green tea, we went to a famous place on the island called Blue Cloud Villa. We sat by the lake and drank the scholar's tea, enjoying the sunset. In the evening, we went to have a barbecue. A large group of people was having a barbecue, and the scene was spectacular. We didn't leave until late at night. After touring around Ozu Lake, I was excited. I didn't know when I would be able to visit such a beautiful place again. After touring around these places, we had to go to another place. It was Xinjiang's famous tea trading base, also known as the China Tea Market. Here, You would see merchants from all over the country. It was the biggest tea trade, and the dazzling array of tea leaves would show you what tea leaves and the tea ceremony culture were. Since we arrived late, the scene wasn't as lively as we had imagined. However, we could still see that tea leaves had become an indispensable item. We took some photos as a souvenir and left the place. The next place was also very meaningful. It was called Dolly Silk Base. It was famous for its authenticity. In fact, it was a place where silk was collected. As soon as we entered the base, we saw many tall mulberry trees. These mulberry trees had been collected from all over the world, forming a kingdom of mulberry trees. As we walked further, I was shocked again. I saw mulberry tree fossils that were more than 100 million years old. People like me didn't know that mulberry trees could turn into fossils and that they could live for more than 100 million years. It was an unimaginable miracle. In the Dolly Silk Ecological Garden, we also saw the mulberry tree king and the mulberry tree queen. They were unimaginable existences that had been transplanted here from other places. Since we had arrived at the right time, the mulberry trees in the ecological garden still had mulberries hanging on them. We tasted them again. The taste was unique. After eating the mulberries, we had to observe the process of making silk. Coincidentally, the silkworms were gorging themselves on the silk. They were ready to turn into cocoons and spit out silk. For people who had never seen such a scene, it was absolutely fascinating. However, as a Zhejiang native, I was used to seeing such a scene. The ancient craftsmanship had been replaced by machines. In the Dolly Silk Garden, there were machines that couldn't be compared to manual labor. With the guide leading the way, we went upstairs to see all kinds of silk products such as quilts, bed sheets, ties, cheongsam, and so on. It was an eye-opener, and I hated that I couldn't take them all back. At noon, we had lunch at the Ecological Garden Hotel. There were some famous snacks, such as fried mulberry leaves, which you couldn't imagine. There was also silkworm chrysalis, which had high protein content. However, no one dared to eat it, as they thought it tasted too strong. I ate some myself, and the taste wasn't bad. At least, it was my first time eating it. It turned out it wasn't as horrible as I had imagined. When we finished our meal at the hotel, our trip to Xinjiang also came to an end. Time passed quickly, and we visited many places. We left our shadows everywhere in Xinjiang. The mountains and rivers weaved together, creating a beautiful image that people would never forget for the rest of their lives. Along the way, he suddenly heard a few words and smiled. Perhaps these words represented everything. Chapter 11. He wasn't willing to die like this. He unintentionally undid the seal of the Grand Mist Dao diagram, and from then on, Su Yang leapt through the Dragon Gate, looking down on the world with disdain as he walked the path of the strongest. Chapter 12. Early morning at the Gate of Divine Might. White mist shrouded the mountains. At first glance, it looked illusory, like the residence of an immortal. Bang, bang, bang. A series of hurried sounds came from the forest, startling the birds in the forest. At the same time, it was accompanied by the sound of breathing, which was very clear in this forest. It turned out that this was a nameless mountain in the territory of the Gate of Divine Might. Very few people would set foot on it. In the sparse forest, there was a young man with a delicate face and a bare upper body. He was standing in front of a towering tree. His fist, which was covered in blood, was punching out at a constant speed. When his fist landed on the tree, there was a dong, dong, dong sound, which affected the muscles in his body. This young man in front of him was Lin Fei. After learning the Invincible Vajra body, Lin Fei understood the power of this mystic technique. The process of cultivation was abnormally painful, but it could forge a strong body. For the sake of his future, Lin Fei gritted his teeth and went all out. Huff, huff. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for reaching the intermediate level of the Invincible Vajra body. This was followed by the notification of the upgrade system. Lin Fei's hands were pressed against the tree. His forehead was full of sweat, and he was panting heavily. He opened his attributes. Player, Lin Fei. Level, 4th tier of the martial way. Distance to next upgrade. Martial arts, saber technique. Expert level of single cut in 2. Invincible Vajra body intermediate level, small success realm, battle technique. None at the moment. Treasure. None at the moment. Mystique. None at the moment. Overall evaluation. Player Lin Fei can barely be considered an expert. Defeating someone at the 4th tier of the martial way is a piece of cake. F***CK. Could it be a mistake? Lin Fei's face was full of shock as he struggled with the evaluation given by the system. At the 4th tier of the martial way, the Xian Qi within one's body would circulate. After cultivating a mystic art, one would be able to produce a powerful attack. For example, if an attack purely from the physical body could produce a force of 500 kilograms, then after cultivating a mystic art, even if it was a low-grade yellow class technique, the force would be at least 1,000 kilograms. The difference in mystic arts was like the difference between heaven and earth. Other than a saber technique, Lin Fei currently had a defensive mystic art. Defeating someone at the 4th tier of the martial way was an incredible feat. What was the reason for this? As a gaming otaku, Lin Fei calmed his heart down and pondered over the details. Once he understood it, why should he continue to keep a low profile? Break it in half. Suddenly, Lin Fei's figure moved. The Xian Qi in his body circulated as he turned the saber technique into a handblade. There was no pause at all. With a piercing sound, the veins on his bronze-colored arm bulged as he landed on the trunk of the tree in front of him with the momentum of a thunderbolt. Crack! A shocking scene appeared. Under the handblade, the sturdy trunk of the tree cracked like a dry field, turning into a spider web that quickly spread out, making one's scalp tingle. Terrifying. Lin Fei looked at his right hand that had returned to its original state. He looked at the scene in front of him in disbelief. It was incredible that a small enlightenment could produce such a sharp attack. After connecting the dots, Lin Fei finally understood everything arranged by the upgrade system. The benefits of taking the marrow cleansing elixir and then the meridian expanding elixir were obvious. Lin Fei's attack, just now, was no less than a mid-grade yellow rank attack, right? Immediately, he frowned slightly. The attack is powerful, but 1/3 of the Xian Qi in my body has been absorbed. It's too terrifying. I barely performed 4 attacks. The enemy didn't die, but I will die. Lin Fei shook his head. The lack of Xian Qi was a problem. It seems that I have to go to the Hidden Art Pavilion in person and choose a Xian Qi cultivation method to make up for this defect. In the Divine Force Gate, any outer disciple who reached the 4th heaven of martial arts could choose a Xian Qi cultivation method and a Xian Qi cultivation method for free. After that, the Xian Qi cultivation method required the Divine Force Gate contribution points. I did not expect the Invincible Vajra body to be compatible with the cleave in half saber technique. It is indeed sharp. I wonder how strong my defense is. After seeing the compatible move just now, Lin Fei was very interested in this Xian Qi cultivation method. Let's start with you. On the nameless barren mountain, there are many rocks. Lin Fei chose a huge black rock that weighed a few hundred kilograms. Activating the Invincible Vajra body, he smashed it with a powerful punch. Kacha, kacha, kacha. With the pure Invincible Vajra body, Lin Fei was surprised to find that his physical attack had unknowingly increased. He could actually shake the hard black rock. Under normal circumstances, a pure 4th heaven of martial arts would not be able to create cracks on a rock that weighed a few hundred kilograms. Lin Fei immediately understood, and then he laughed out loud. Haha, the heavens are really on my side. So the legends are not fake. The Invincible Vajra body at the intermediate small success realm can already reach such a frightening level. Then what about the advanced experts? To live, leveling up was a must. Lin Fei continued to use his saber to kill low-level demons. He had comprehended the single cut in 2 saber technique to its limits. When demons fell into his hands, they could not resist at all and were killed with 1 strike. This was a true demonstration of the essence of the saber technique. On this day, Lin Fei was using his saber to kill demons. Senior brother Lin, something bad has happened. Someone barged in from outside and rushed directly to Lin Fei's position. Lin Fei raised his head and recognized the person. He barely recognized him. The person was called Zhao Hu, and he was on good terms with the experts. Over time, they got to know each other. Junior brother Zhao Hu, what's going on? Why are you so flustered? Lin Fei frowned. He had a bad feeling about this. Zhao Hu was just like his name. He looked like a tiger, but he was not strong. He was only at the third heavenly layer of the martial path. Panting, he said, Senior brother Gao, he is sparring with Zhang Zhongshan on the stage. No matter how we persuade him, he won't come down. Senior brother Lin, you should go and persuade senior brother Gao. I heard that Zhang Zhongshan has recently learned a low-grade yellow rank Xian art. If he were to use too much force, it would be terrible. Zhang Zhongshan, you deserve to die. Hearing this, Lin Fei was furious. The demonic beast saber in his hand glowed with a cold light and landed on the wooden pillar. The wooden pillar, which had been around for an unknown period of time, could not withstand the attack and instantly broke into pieces. Zhao was slightly startled. His eyes flashed with shock as he thought to himself, when did senior brother Lin Fei become so powerful? Zhao was very clear about Lin Fei's strength. He thought that Lin Fei used it in anger and did not pay much attention to it. He hoped that it would be able to persuade senior brother Gao to come down. On the road to the divine martial gate square, Lin Fei finally knew what was going on. A while ago, senior brother Gao wanted to take revenge for Lin Fei. Because he was a small realm lower than Lin Fei, he held back and did not make a move. Recently, he successfully advanced to the fourth heavenly layer of the martial path and could cultivate Xian arts. With his innate divine strength, he had a little fame in the outer sect. Now that senior brother Gao had advanced to the fourth heavenly layer of the martial path, he immediately found Zhang Zhongtian, who had injured Lin Fei. Naturally, the two of them went up to the arena to exchange pointers. Coincidentally, there was news that Zhang Zhongtian had learned a yellow-class Xian art. The situation was extremely disadvantageous for senior brother Gao. Hence, this scene happened. Zhang Zhongtian, if you dare to harm a single hair on senior brother Gao today, I will make you die a horrible death. While running, Lin Fei clenched his fist so hard that it made cracking sounds. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. Chapter 13. The Divine Force Sect's Martial Arts Field. In such a big sect, there would always be some unsolvable disputes. The Divine Force Sect did not allow disciples to kill each other. Therefore, the arena competition came into being. In addition to the Divine Force Sect's monthly competition, after half a year's competition, disciples would always come to the martial arts field to learn from each other. No matter what it was, especially private fights, it was strictly forbidden. Those who violated the rules would be severely punished. Usually, things that could not be solved would be solved in the arena of the martial arts field. The winner was the king. The outcome of the arena would decide the direction of the matters outside the field. It had always been popular among the disciples. Similarly, aside from solving disputes, the arena had also become a place for disciples to learn from each other. As long as there was no killing in the arena, the Divine Force Sect's higher-ups would not interfere. In the words of the Divine Force Sect's higher-ups, disciples who did not learn from each other were like tigers that had lost their claws and teeth. If they did not grow in battle, they would never be able to become strong. Today, the majority of the Divine Force Sect's martial arts field was outer court disciples. Inner court disciples went out to cultivate and gain all kinds of experience. Outer court disciples' fights were nothing to the inner court disciples. Their goal was to reach a higher realm, so they did not have the time to waste on this. As expected of our senior brother Gao, his divine strength is amazing. He is really powerful. He can actually fight senior brother Zhang to a draw. Damn, you don't understand. How could senior brother Gao be senior brother Zhang's opponent? In terms of realm, senior brother Gao has been in the fourth sky of martial path for a year. His control of Xian Shi is not something that senior brother Gao can compare with when he just entered the fourth sky of martial path. This senior brother is right. I heard that our senior brother Zhang has recently cultivated a lower-grade yellow rank Xian art. Once he uses his trump card, senior brother Gao has no choice but to lose. The outer court disciples were in groups of 3 to 5. From time to time, they would discuss the situation on the stage. On the stage, there were many figures crisscrossing back and forth, and there was no lack of showing off their knowledge. Bang! The two exchanged blows, and in a flash, they pulled apart. Junior brother Gao, if this is all you have and you want to defeat me, then you will regret it. If you kneel down and beg for mercy now, I can let you go without saying a word. Zhang Zhongshan looked gentle and elegant. He was wearing a white robe, like an elegant young master. He was full of confidence and said to the person opposite him. The expert frowned. He seemed to be careless, but there was a hint of finesse in his coarse words. He coldly snorted, "Humph, show me what you have. I, the expert, have never been afraid. You and I are both at the fourth sky of a martial path. Do you think I will be afraid of you?" Zhang Zhongshan was so angry that he laughed. Good, very good. Junior brother Gao is stubborn. It just so happens that I have just learned a fist technique. My fists and legs have no eyes. Please forgive me. The words that came out of his mouth seemed to be floating, but in reality, there was a hidden meaning. Many of the outer court disciples below the stage couldn't help but curse in their hearts. What a shameless guy. The seemingly simple sparring on the stage was, in reality, a battle between the poor and the families. Among the outer court disciples, the poor were one faction, while the family disciples were the other. The two were like fire and water, fighting endlessly. The poor were the grassroots faction, so naturally, they hoped that the senior brother Gao would win, so that their faction would gain some face. After hearing this, they secretly cursed Zhang Zhongtian for being shameless and bullying the weak. When the senior brother Gao advanced to the fourth heavenly layer of the martial way, he could at most learn a first or second-rate Xian skill. A Huang-level Xian skill, even if it was a low-grade one, still cost a few thousand taels of silver. It was far from what the poor could afford. This was the difference between the grassroots and the families. Using a low-grade Huang-level Xian skill to defeat someone who had never learned a Huang-level Xian skill was simply an unfair victory. In the Xintian continent, a low-grade Xian skill could often make one an expert. The senior brother Gao did not have a Huang-level Xian skill, and his fist and leg techniques were a level lower. It was impossible for him to defeat his opponent. This was the reason why everyone was angry. A bunch of arrogant grassroots. The power of a family is not something you can imagine. Today, I will use you to establish my power. You can only blame yourself for standing up for that trash, Lin Fei. Zhang Zhongshan laughed coldly in his heart. As for being shameless, it didn't matter. The winner was king, and everything was decided by the winner. Jade Shattering Hand, a low-grade Huang-level Xian skill. Zhang Zhongshan stretched out his left hand. His originally white palm instantly turned green, like the dark green of the night, bringing with it a dangerous aura. Even before he made his move, the dangerous aura permeated the entire arena, causing everyone to feel a sense of fear and retreat. Even if it was a low-grade Huang-level Xian skill, it was not something a first- or second-rate Xian skill could defend against. The difference in grade made it impossible for people to ignore its power. Everyone's expression changed. It was as if they were the ones on the arena. A low-grade Huang-level Xian skill was not something they could defend against. The expert's expression was grave. He believed that he was born with divine strength, but he had no confidence against a low-grade Huang-level Xian skill. He gritted his teeth and decided to take the initiative. Ferocious Tiger descends the mountain. The Ferocious Tiger fist art was a first-rate Xian skill. It was known for its ferocity, and when paired with divine strength, it would be abnormally terrifying, surpassing ordinary disciples of the same generation. Oomph, it's just a first-rate Xian skill. Break it before my Jade Shattering Hand. The difference between a low-grade Huang-level Xian skill and a first-rate Xian skill was not something an ordinary person could make up for. The crowd below the arena only saw a green palm print. It broke through the ferocious tiger fist art and landed on the expert's chest. A muffled groan was heard in midair, and a figure flew out like a kite with a broken string. A low-grade Huang-level Xian skill was defeated in one move. Lin Fei's Xian Qi was abundant, and he was faster than Zhao Hu. Expert. As soon as he arrived at the gate of God martial arts practice field, Lin Fei saw the expert being sent flying out of the arena with one move. He did not know if he was dead or alive. His body moved in an instant, and he flew towards the expert, taking the opportunity to catch the expert. The strong impact still made Lin Fei take a few steps back before he could stabilize his footing. "Expert, how are you? Are your injuries serious?" The expert struggled to open his eyes, and he couldn't help but vomit a mouthful of blood. "Lin Fei, why are you here? Hurry up and go back. You're not his match. Don't go up." Even though the expert had already anticipated the broken jade hand, the power of the fist art was still beyond his imagination. He couldn't even block a single move, and he couldn't help but feel depressed. When he saw Lin Fei appear, he immediately became nervous, afraid that the impulsive Lin Fei would go up the arena again. "Don't talk. Take care of yourself." Lin Fei put the expert down and took a deep breath. He raised his head and looked at the white-robed Zhang Zhongshan on the arena. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Zhang Zhongshan was the enemy that he hated the most in his memories. The originally fused memories had a short emotional fluctuation. It was a kind of resentment that was deep in the soul. It was obvious that Zhang Zhongshan had left a deep resentment in the memory of the previous Lin Fei. "Regardless of my previous life or this life, I am Lin Fei now. Your enemy is this old man's enemy. Your woman is this old man's woman. From today onwards, this old man will complete all the things that you can't do in your memories." Let's start with Zhang Zhongshan. A bright light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. He took a deep breath and changed his usual style. His entire spirit, qi, and spirit instantly changed. Chapter 14. Lin Fei's not-so-tall figure instantly grew taller, as if he was a towering mountain. Lin Fei wasn't famous among the outer disciples. On the contrary, he was a nobody. If it wasn't for the changes in the monthly competition last month, he would probably still be a nobody. It was a pity that his reputation wasn't too good. Instead, he was labeled as a madman, and his name would go down in history. A mere second heaven of the martial path challenging Zhang Zhongshan, who was at the fourth heaven of the martial path. Lin Fei became the center of attention once more. I'm not seeing things, right? Isn't he that arrogant Lin Fei? What did he come here to show off? Junior brother, you're not mistaken. He's Lin Fei. Do you see his clothes? I can guarantee that he must have come out from the slaughterhouse. I can smell the blood on him from afar. That brat Lin Fei suffered last time. Does he still not understand the gap between the two of them? Isn't he courting death? The outer disciples were in an uproar once more. Lin Fei was only at the second heaven of the martial path. Did he not know that he wouldn't be able to survive if he went up today? This was simply looking for trouble, asking for a beating. Zhang Zhongshan's face was calm as he defeated a fourth heaven of the martial path expert in a single move. It was as if he had accomplished something insignificant. He thought to himself, a mere grassroots disciple doesn't deserve to be my opponent. He's simply courting death. Although he had controlled his strength in that move, Lin Fei would need at least a month to recover from his injuries. This yellow-ranked, low-grade jade breaking hand was worth the money he spent. Just when he was feeling happy, he heard that Lin Fei was challenging him. He doubted his ears. "It's you? Lin Fei?" Zhang Zhongshan turned his head and came to a realization. He almost thought that he had seen wrongly. This trash actually wanted to challenge him? Could it be that he had been beaten silly? "Senior brother Zhang, you didn't see wrongly. I'm Lin Fei. Why? Are you surprised? Or do you not dare to accept my challenge?" Lin Fei remained calm as he looked at Zhang Zhongshan on the stage. Zhang Zhongshan had learned a yellow-ranked low-grade jade technique. If Lin Fei wasn't confident, he would definitely not go up. Zhang Zhongshan probably wouldn't mind killing him. Now that Lin Fei was at the fourth heaven of the martial path and cultivated the single chop in half-saber technique, as well as the invincible Vajra body, Lin Fei was confident of defeating Zhang Zhongshan. Zhang Zhongshan revealed a smile on his face, eliciting cheers from several female disciples. Laughter rang out, showing how charming he was. In Zhang Zhongshan's eyes, Lin Fei was trash. Lin Fei had wasted his good family background and gotten himself into big trouble. As for why Zhang Zhongshan wanted to get rid of Lin Fei, there was no other reason. Lin Fei, this trash, actually dared to attack the goddess in his heart. If Lin Fei did not die, he would not be able to rest easy. After getting rid of Lin Fei, Zhang Zhongshan would invisibly befriend the city lord. Why not? Originally, Zhang Zhongshan thought that Lin Fei would not be able to withstand 3 punches and would die from severe injuries. In the end, this brat stubbornly survived. Zhang Zhongshan was pondering how to send this brat to heaven. Just as Zhang Zhongshan was about to doze off, someone sent him a pillow. Zhang Zhongshan did not stand on ceremony and accepted Lin Fei's life. How can senior brother reject junior brother's challenge? However, I'm afraid that I might not be able to control myself during the exchange. Junior brother, you have to be careful. Don't end up like junior brother Gao and end up feeling uncomfortable all over. I'm just a lowly person. Lin Fei smiled faintly. It is hard to avoid injuries when exchanging pointers. Isn't this in line with the hidden meaning of the arena? As a transmigrator, how could Lin Fei not understand the meaning in Zhang Zhongxing's words? Zhang Zhongxing clearly wanted to kill him. Severe injuries, relapse without needing to think. Lin Fei instantly understood Zhang Zhongshan's plan. Zhang Zhongshan was slightly stunned. If not for the Lin Fei before him, he would have suspected that he had recognized the wrong person. Since when did Lin Fei learn to be reasonable? Wasn't he just walking into a dead end? No matter what, he had to deal with this brat today. On the arena, facing Zhang Zhongshan once again, Lin Fei had a strong desire to release himself. Although it had only been 10 days since his last defeat, Zhang Zhongshan was like a huge mountain, pressuring Lin Fei to the point where he couldn't breathe. It was as if a huge rock was hanging on his chest, making him feel uncomfortable. If not for the unexpected appearance of the level-up system, Lin Fei wouldn't have the slightest confidence against Zhang Zhongshan, who was at the 4th level of the martial path. Especially since the other party cultivated a low-grade, yellow-ranked mystical art. The gap between them would be infinitely wide, and in the end, they would become existences that he could only look up to. Everything starts from today. Lin Fei's stand gave Zhang Zhongshan quite a big impact. Junior brother, we haven't met for 3 days. I have to look at you in a different light. Let me experience junior brother's skills. Zhang Zhongshan didn't know why, but facing the calm Lin Fei, he suddenly had a bad feeling. From the beginning until now, Lin Fei's performance had far exceeded his previous performance. He vaguely had the demeanor of an expert. No matter what, he couldn't accept this. How could a mere trash have the demeanor of an expert? Sky-shattering fist. It was rare for a cultivator's intuition to be wrong. Zhang Zhongshan didn't take it seriously, but he still couldn't help but make the first move. No matter how strange Lin Fei was, once he fell into his hands, Lin Fei wouldn't be able to make a comeback and could only obediently accept his death. With this move, Zhang Zhongshan's feet tapped the ground, and he leaped more than 3 meters into the air. His entire body was like a cannonball, and his fists were like iron hammers as they streaked through the air. Sky-shattering fist, a first-grade mystical art. As expected, you want my life. My life isn't so easy to take. Not good. Junior Lin Fei's life is in danger. Zhang Zhongshan's first attack was the sky-shattering fist, which was known for its ferocity. Making use of the momentum from above, he executed a tyrannical attack that wasn't inferior to the ferocious tiger fist from before. The expert had exchanged blows with Zhang Zhongshan earlier, so it was clear how powerful this fist art was. How could Lin Fei possibly block it? Seeing that Zhang Zhongshan was going to execute the sky-shattering fist once more, the expert, who was being supported by the others below the stage, couldn't help but vomit a mouthful of blood. Hee, Lin Fei won't be so lucky this time. This is what they call a self-inflicted disaster. There are always some people who think they're infallible. They never learn from their mistakes. They deserve to die. Below the stage, almost no one was optimistic about Lin Fei's chances. The disparity in strength was too great, which resulted in the disparity in the might of the profound arts. For a clan disciple like Zhang Zhongshan, who had the money to purchase profound arts, It was clear that he had the upper hand in a fight. Zhang Zhongshan descended from above, but Lin Fei didn't panic. He was as calm as before. "Junior brother, let's see how you're going to deal with this move of mine." Zhang Zhongshan executed the sky-shattering fist just in case. With a ferocious attack, he could severely injure Lin Fei with a single punch. Seeing that the attack was about to reach him, Lin Fei didn't retaliate. Instead, he executed the spiritual monkey somersault, making him look like a monkey. In an instant, he dodged out of the range of the attack and fled. This was the most ordinary movement technique of the divine martial sect's outer disciples. Zhang Zhongshan wasn't a newbie. He was somewhat surprised that his attack failed. However, it was merely a surprise. His fist turned into an eagle claw, and with a tap on the arena, he turned into an afterimage and pounced at Lin Fei. Eagle claw art. Let's see where you can run to. A second-rate profound art, the eagle claw art. Lin Fei, who was fleeing, suddenly stopped. He turned around and charged back with a cold smile on his face. His palm turned into a saber, and a bronze color flashed by. Cleave in two. Saber art, cleave in two. Since Lin Fei had transmigrated to this world, he knew all the common knowledge of attacks in his memories. Switching between profound arts required an instant, and this was Lin Fei's opportunity. He was inferior to Zhang Zhongshan in terms of profound arts. If he used his trump card and used weakness to confuse Zhang Zhongshan, he would definitely succeed. "Brat, I underestimated you. However, do you think you could defeat me like this? What a joke." Eagle claw art. Tear. Zhang Zhongshan was indeed fooled by Lin Fei. Lin Fei actually chose to switch his cultivation technique to attack. This startled Zhang Zhongshan slightly. What a smart choice. Then, Zhang Zhongshan was infuriated. "How dare a mere brat attack me? Cleave in two." When the two clashed, Lin Fei's profound energy erupted. "Damn it! How did your cultivation reach the fourth heavenly layer of the martial path?" Zhang Zhongshan's expression changed drastically the instant they clashed. Chapter 15. P.S. There was a problem with the mouse yesterday, so I used the keyboard to copy it. In the morning, I realized that the chapters were all the same. I'm sorry. Lin Fei, long time no see. Heavenly Godly Shan blocked an attack, and said to Lin Fei with a smile on his face. Lin Fei, who had once caused him to suffer a great loss, was gnashing his teeth in anger. This was the first time he had suffered such a great loss since his reincarnation. Lin Fei smiled. "Taoist Li Shan, it seems that you are also here for me." Taoist Lin Fei is indeed a smart person. I haven't said it yet, but you already know my purpose. Heavenly Godly Shan clapped his hands. "Who asked you to bring something that we are interested in? As long as you hand it over, I won't do anything to you." Li Shan, don't be so shameless. I found Lin Fei first. What right do you have to interfere? Heavenly God Black Sage's face darkened. He was very angry. Another strong enemy had appeared. It wouldn't be easy to deal with him. Moreover, Lin Fei wasn't easy to deal with either. Heavenly Godly Shan didn't care about Heavenly God Black Sage's gaze. You said that you found Lin Fei. I said that I found him. If you want to catch Lin Fei, it will depend on who is capable. If you are capable, you don't have to wait until now. Good. Back then, you were weaker than me. Now, you're still weaker than me. It won't be too late to deal with him after I get rid of you. Heavenly God Black Sage raised his sword and stabbed it at Heavenly Godly Shan. Heavenly Godly Shan didn't panic. He also took out a low-grade divine artifact, long sword, and attacked Heavenly God Black Sage. I also want to see who is stronger, you or me. I have been looking forward to this day for a long time. Pung pung. The two swords collided, creating a terrifying wave of air. Both of them were experts in using swords. Their sword techniques were very sharp. Streaks of sword intent flew across the sky. Everywhere they went was filled with terrifying sword intent. If a half-step heavenly god came here, he would be killed with one strike. It's best if they fight to the death. Lin Fei didn't plan to interfere. It would be best if both of them were injured. It would save him a lot of trouble. Wah! Suddenly, he felt a chill down his spine. In the air, a dark golden light flashed, blasting onto the back of Lin Fei. The heavenly deity battle armor appeared, blocking the sword strike of the opponent. A cry of alarm rang out in the air, and he rapidly disappeared. Lin Fei blinked. Looks like I've really become a fat sheep. Come out. Lin Fei aimed his saber at a certain location, and a saber light filled the air. The void under the starry sky shattered, and a figure fell out. A strange light flashed in his eyes, and he didn't hesitate to attack Lin Fei. Double dragon kill. This person was also a young master that Lin Fei knew. Empyrean god Kong Sheng was a disciple of the holy fiend Hegemon, and he was now an Empyrean god as well. Whoosh whoosh. Empyrean god Kong Sheng used 2 daggers, one long and one short. The daggers danced about, unleashing one blood-colored dragon after another. There were over 100 blood-colored dragons, each of which contained a terrifying attack power. There's no need to hide. Come out. If you want my life, you won't be able to do so. Lin Fei laughed loudly. The void around him shattered, and black holes appeared one after another, swallowing the blood-colored dragons. None of the hundreds of blood-colored dragons could get close to Lin Fei. Empyrean god Kong Sheng's expression changed. He lost connection with his killer move, as if it had been banished. Empyrean god Li Shan and Empyrean god Black Saint also noticed the appearance of Empyrean god Kong Sheng, and they cursed him for being shameless. He sneak attacked them while they were fighting. He wanted to make them work for nothing. Whoosh whoosh whoosh. As soon as Lin Fei spoke, 2 more auras appeared in the air. The figure that appeared did not hesitate and immediately attacked Lin Fei. Fine. One of them tore open a celestial talisman, opened his mouth, and a Jingguang flew out toward Lin Fei. It wrapped around Lin Fei tightly like a dumpling. Another person took out a black barrier, and the sky instantly darkened. It covered the location where Lin Fei was, and even the starry sky trembled. The 2 of them attacked, catching everyone off guard. I told you, Lin Fei is just lucky. Once we attacked, he would be captured without putting up a fight. The expert who took out the celestial talisman was Empyrean god Goldfeather, and he had a grudge against Lin Fei. It's all thanks to Taoist Kong Sheng. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to catch them off guard. The other Empyrean god was the 10th young master. She was as cold as a 10,000-year-old snow mountain. 5 Empyrean gods appeared in the blink of an eye, and they were all from the 10 young masters. It could be said that they had taken a liking to Lin Fei. After all, these were 5 Empyrean gods. Empyrean god Black Saint and Empyrean god Li Shan were very dissatisfied. In the end, they had worked for nothing. They acted as a distraction, and in the end, they benefited others. You guys are not kind. Heavenly god Li Shan sneered. We were the ones who took a fancy to Lin Fei first. Aren't the 3 of you looking down on us? Heavenly god Dark Sacred was furious, and his cold gaze swept across the 3 of them. Goldfeather gave him a meaningful glance. Lin Fei, we've captured him. What are you going to do about it? Thousand Demon Fist. Empyrean god Goldfeather had always been a baleful person. Now that he had become an Empyrean god, how could he possibly be frightened by Empyrean god Blacksage's words? Without saying a single word, he charged forward. The fist light morphed into tens of thousands of demons, bear demons, bird demons. All of them roared continuously, forming a black mass. Reckless fool! Empyrean god Blacksage let out a cold snort, revealing his majesty. Great Destruction Sword. A sword slashed across the sky. The aura of destruction was able to slay a black swarm of monsters with a single blow, and the remaining power continued to surge towards Goldfeather. Good timing. Empyrean god Goldfeather punched once more. The other 10th young master immediately made his move, his face as cold as frost. 10,000 miles of ice. This was one of the ultimate arts of Deity Heaven Palace. Even the starry sky could be frozen. Once an immortal expert was frozen, all signs of life would disappear. The 10th young master's target was Empyrean god Blacksage. Empyrean god Blacksage's legs were frozen, and the white ice assaulted his body. Even though Empyrean god Blacksage used his divine power to shatter it, he was still unable to stop the invasion of the ice. Li Shan, you are doing this for Lin Fei, and I'm doing this for Lin Fei as well. As long as you make a move and capture Lin Fei, we will split the benefits equally. Empyrean God felt the pressure. They were both Empyrean gods, but 2 against 1 was indeed too much. Really, as long as you make a move, I will give you 50% of the benefits. 50% is not enough. I want 60%. 18 clones, I want 10. Empyrean God Li Shan demanded an exorbitant price. Empyrean God Blacksage's eyes were almost spewing fire. What a shameless fellow. He was profiting from a burning house. Empyrean God Blacksage knew what Li Shan was thinking, but he could only temporarily endure it. After I deal with them, let's see if you have the ability to get 10 clones. Fine, I agree. It's a deal. Empyrean God Li Shan also made his move, sweeping his sword at the 10th young master. Each of his moves was sharp, forcing the 10th young master to be distracted. Master, you are becoming more and more popular. In the distant void, Lin Fei's figure was faintly discernible, and the surrounding space was constantly changing. Who asked me to be so handsome? Master is a narcissist. Little devil, said in disdain. Lin Fei looked at the battle and shook his head lightly. Their strength is not bad. Unfortunately, I have grasp spatial and time arts, and they are both top-notch. Their attacks cannot threaten me. Chapter 16. The heavens gave me the investiture of the gods. With one skill, I can become a god. Meng Chao obtained the god's investiture system by chance, and it granted him supreme authority in the god's investiture space. He could search for any talented person from ancient times until now and help them become gods. And before he became a god, Meng Chao could also quickly learn the skills they were good at in the investiture of the god space. He could search the souls of any skill he needed. Anyone who wants to compete with me, listen up. I specialize in dealing with all kinds of people who refuse to submit to me. From then on, an unprecedented all-rounder in the city was born. Chapter 17. Lin Fei did not dare to question the old man's words. From the old man's words, he could hear a strong sense of warning. He came to a conclusion that the old man must be the guardian elder of the Hidden Art Pavilion. After you've chosen a mysterious art, come to me to register. Remember, you are currently at the fourth sky of Martial Path, so you can only choose one mysterious art. The other is a supplementary mysterious art. You may go now. Lin Feng left respectfully. For some reason, standing in front of the guardian elder, Lin Fei felt a lot of pressure. His heart was pounding, as expected of the guardian elder. After pushing open the door, the first floor of the Hidden Art Pavilion came into Lin Fei's sight. Rows of neatly arranged wooden shelves filled with a long history and an ancient aura drifted toward Zhangxian. This is the Hidden Art Pavilion? Even though it was his first time here, he could not forget about the Hidden Art Pavilion. Even in his dreams, he dreamed of entering the Hidden Art Pavilion one day. Taking a deep breath, Lin Fei suppressed the excitement in his heart. He was finally qualified to enter the Hidden Art Pavilion. In the next breath, Lin Fei's face turned bitter. He couldn't help but slap his forehead. Damn, there are so many cultivation techniques. How long do I have to take to choose in an hour? If I knew this would happen, I would have asked him first. Do I have to read them one by one? Lin Fei was in trouble. On the first floor of the Hidden Art Pavilion, there were rows of wooden shelves, like a library. According to Lin Fei's estimation, there were at least tens of thousands of cultivation techniques in front of him. Tens of thousands. Lin Fei was speechless. Forget it. I'll just take it one step at a time. As the name suggested, the Hidden Art Pavilion was a place to store cultivation techniques. The Divine Martial Gate was one of the 3 great sects in the Unfalling Empire. Their collection of cultivation techniques was not something that ordinary clans could compare to. This was proof of what a true foundation was. This was a foundation. Mental cultivation techniques, fist techniques, leg techniques, composition techniques, saber techniques, sword techniques. All kinds of cultivation techniques were categorized. At least Lin Fei didn't have to search blindly. Fist technique, Arhut fist, third-rate cultivation technique. Fist technique, Great Sun Emperor fist, second-rate cultivation technique. Sword technique, Sunset sword art, first-rate cultivation technique. Sword technique, Azure Cloud Sword Art, first-rate cultivation technique. Leg technique, Wind God's Kick, third-rate cultivation technique. Along the way, all kinds of fist techniques, sword techniques, saber techniques. All of them came into view, dazzling his eyes. There are so many secret manuals on the first floor of the Hidden Technique Pavilion. What about the next few floors? Lin Fei didn't dare to think further. He remembered the words of the pavilion elder and didn't dare to go down recklessly. Along the way, Lin Fei experienced the story of the monkey descending the mountain. It was like he was in the same position as the monkey. There were too many cultivation techniques, and he didn't know where to start. Fortunately, Lin Fei had thought about it before coming here. Mental cultivation techniques were the most important. They were related to his future achievements, and he couldn't afford to be careless. Let's go to the mysterious technique, heart technique, area first. The Hidden Technique Pavilion was categorized. It was very easy to find the corresponding area. Mysterious technique, heart technique, area. Damn, this mysterious technique, heart technique, is too. Lin Fei stood in the middle of the wooden shelves. There were mysterious technique, heart techniques on both sides. A rough count showed that there were no less than a few hundred mysterious technique, heart techniques. At a glance, there were so many of them that he didn't know where to start. Frost Mystic Chi, first-class mysterious technique. He randomly picked one out. There was an introduction in the table of contents. Frost Mystic Chi, first-class mysterious technique. There are a total of 10 levels. Once mastered, the Frost Mystic Chi can turn the area within a radius of 3 feet into a world of ice and snow. It can hurt people's bodies and freeze their mystic chi. After reading the introduction, it wasn't hard for Lin Fei to imagine the power of the Frost Mystic Chi. It was simply a weapon that could hurt people. The power is not bad. Unfortunately, it's not what I need. Lin Fei shook his head and put the mysterious technique back to its original position. He continued to search. Blazing Sun Heart Technique, second-class mysterious technique. Six Harmonies Heart Technique, third-class mysterious technique. Immovable Overlord Heart Technique, first-class mysterious technique. Sky-splitting Blazing Sun Heart Technique, first-class mysterious technique. It must be mentioned that there were a lot of mysterious technique heart techniques. It was just like shopping in a shopping mall. In just a short period of time, 15 minutes had passed. Lin Fei still hadn't found a satisfactory mysterious technique. He couldn't help but feel anxious. If he couldn't find a suitable mysterious technique heart technique, it would greatly affect his future. Feeling anxious, Lin Fei began to speed up his search. One book after another, Lin Fei would immediately make his choice after taking a look at them. Why are there only a few books here? Along the way, Lin Fei looked down the wooden shelves. He had gotten used to the placement of the profound art manuals. For some reason, he caught a glimpse of a few profound art manuals placed on a wooden shelf not too far away. For some reason, he walked over. Taking a rough look, there were a few secret manuals on the wooden shelf. Overlord Heart Sutra, a first-rate Heart Sutra, incomplete, recommended not to learn. Lin Fei suddenly understood what was going on. As it turned out, these profound cultivation techniques were all collected from the outside world. If a portion of them was missing, it was not advisable to cultivate them. After inheriting the cultivation memories, Lin Fei was very clear about the profound art mental cultivation method. The profound art mental cultivation method must be complete. If he lost even one of the layers, he would not be able to perfect the profound art mental cultivation method, and his strength will be greatly affected. It's a pity about these Xian skills and mental cultivation methods. Lin Fei couldn't help but feel that it was a pity. If it was a complete set of profound art manuals, its value would be even greater. Since the incomplete manual was a first-rate Heart Sutra, the entire set might even be a yellow-ranked Heart Sutra. Subconsciously, Lin Fei continued reading. 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra, a first-rate Heart Sutra, incomplete, recommended not to learn. Just when he saw these words, an accident occurred. Beep. Mission window activated. discovered a missing 9 revolutions Heart Sutra. Do you want to accept? The abrupt voice of the system gave Lin Fei a huge fright. Before he could react, the cold voice rang out once more. Discovered a missing 9 revolutions Heart Sutra. Do you want to accept? Lin Fei was a gaming otaku. He immediately reacted and nearly burst out laughing. He had inadvertently discovered a hidden mission, and in the end, an unknown mission popped up. He was incomparably shocked. Could it be that he had really become an online game? Accept. Mission window activated. Search for the missing 9 revolutions Heart Sutra. Current status: incomplete. Mission reward: unknown. After looking through the system, Lin Fei nearly vomited blood. It wasn't easy for him to trigger a mission, but he was completely baffled. Could the search for the 9 revolutions Heart Sutra be a mission? Lin Fei was extremely surprised that he had accidentally triggered mission. He opened up the leveling system once more, and the previously dim and colorless system finally lit up. Anyone who had played online games would know that triggering a mission by accident would result in a bountiful reward. However, Lin Fei didn't expect it to be like this. Chapter 18. Lin Fei had a lewd dream. In the dream, he was an unparalleled emperor worshipped by tens of thousands of people. He had 3 palaces, 6 courtyards, 72 concubines, and countless beauties. He could dress up however he wanted. Lolita girls, hot and sexy women, gentle and lovely girls, pink queen with a leather whip, beach beauties in bikinis. He lived a blissful life with beauties on his left and right, making others envious. Now, when he woke up from the erotic dream, Lin Fei found himself in a tragedy. Damn, who's playing a prank so early in the morning? Get out here. Are you kidding me? Usually, the Simmons bed used by the girls would be able to last 3 days and 3 nights without a problem. But now, it had become a hard wooden bed, cold as ice. Damn it, there was a huge crack at the side of the bed. It was pitch black and could fit a fist inside. The quality of this wooden bed was too ridiculous. It was probably something that could only be found in the countryside. Other than the Simmons bed that he was sitting on, Lin Fei found that he couldn't move at all. His whole body was in excruciating pain. He almost couldn't breathe when he moved slightly. It was as if all his bones were fractured. The pain was unbearable. Could it be that I will collapse from an erotic dream? Are you kidding me? Simmons was gone, and it seemed like there was something wrong with her body. Furthermore, this room was not her original room, and it had actually become a dilapidated wooden hut. There was a damp smell in the air. This was too ridiculous. The photos of various girls that were originally pasted on the wall were gone. The cute photos were gone, and the girl with invincible breasts, Lu Yin, was also gone. It had become an old and broken wooden board, and a fellow that looked like a spider was lazily and leisurely throwing a web on it. What exactly was this place? Lin Fei couldn't imagine it. He couldn't understand it. Was he sleepwalking? His brain was not enough. It hurts. Suddenly, Lin Fei's head was in severe pain. A large amount of information was pouring in. He subconsciously held his head with his hands. His forehead was full of cold sweat. He was a loss. After a moment, Lin Fei's face was pale. He looked helplessly at the old wooden board above his head. Facing the light coming through the crack, he couldn't help but smile bitterly. I actually time-traveled. Lin Fei had just graduated from university this year. He wasn't handsome, but he had a body full of muscles. Girls were never a problem for him. Based on his understanding of games in university, he snuck into a game company and became a game tester, checking for bugs and loopholes in the game. As for why, it was all because of the cute girls. The benefits of working in the company were pretty good. There were plenty of important girls around, dazzling his eyes. If he had nothing to do, he could look for a girl to chat with. His days passed very leisurely. As a matter of fact, he had just returned from a meal with a pure and innocent girl in black stockings. Just as he was about to take things a step further, perhaps he could roll in the sheets with her and discuss his ideals in life, he was summoned by his superior. He said that he was going to check on a game at the last minute. Once he did, he had to work overtime for 2 days and 2 nights straight. When he was about to fall asleep, he woke up to find that he had actually transmigrated and become a member of the army of transmigrators. Lin Fei didn't know whether to laugh or cry. How could such a good thing happen to him? F***CK. Since he had transmigrated, he should have been given an impressive identity, but the identity he was given was not impressive at all. When other people transmigrate, they are either emperors or princes hugging women on their left and right, or they're carefree princes who have money and women. F***CK. When it's my turn to transmigrate, I've become a tragic child who isn't loved by my grandmother or grandfather. F***CK. This is too unfair. The owner of this body was called Lin Fei. Just like his name, he was 17 years old this year. He was an outer sect disciple of the Divine Force sect in the Unfalling Dynasty, a second-rate sect. As for his other identity, it was much more noble. He was the third young master of the Lin family. If one had to add an adjective, it would be that he was a playboy. From the fused memories, the previous owner could be considered an earth-shattering master. Lin Fei had never seen such a person. As for why he came to the Divine Force sect as an outer sect disciple, he had to mention the earth-shattering things that the previous owner had done. The previous Lin Fei had done an extremely daring thing. Taking advantage of the dark and windy night, he had sneaked into the city lord's mansion and secretly kissed the city lord's daughter. He had almost succeeded. Why didn't he succeed? Actually, it was very simple. He was not strong enough and was injured by the city lord's daughter. After causing such a big trouble, the Lin family was afraid that the city lord would investigate later, so they used all kinds of methods and finally sent Lin Fei to the Divine Force sect as an outer sect disciple. It didn't matter whether he was dead or alive. It was equivalent to exile, and this exile lasted for 4 years. As a man, you are really a disgrace to men. Isn't it just a girl? If it was me, I would have pressed both of her feet, and I would have succeeded. Lin Fei was very disdainful. Then he flipped through his past experiences. He didn't know what to say, so he concluded, a rotten person, a very rotten person. After complaining, Lin Fei had to accept the reality in front of him. He had transmigrated. He had become the third young master of the Lin family. Since he was already here, he might as well take things as they come. Lin Fei was an orphan and didn't have many friends. He had a strong ability to accept things. At most, he couldn't bear to part with the hundreds of GB of action movies on his computer and the photos of all kinds of girls. After reminiscing, Lin Fei couldn't wait to find out one thing. Who the hell dared to hit me? In university, Lin Fei was an expert in fighting. He was famous throughout the university. Others gave him the nickname of Desperate Saber. Other than him fighting others, no one dared to hit him. That body of muscles comparable to Mr. Fitness was trained hard in fighting. After looking through his memories, he finally understood what was going on. The reason was actually very simple. The Divine Force sect had a small competition every month and a big competition every 6 months. In the last memory of the previous Lin Fei, it seemed that because of some words, he was provoked by someone, so he went up to the stage to learn from each other. In the end, he was seriously injured and died. In the end, it was Lin Fei who came from Earth. Very melodramatic, very melodramatic. In his memory, the person who dealt with him was the opposite family of the Lin family. The previous Lin Fei was a stubborn guy. He fell for the opponent's trick. With the strength of the second sky of the martial path, he fought against the fourth sky of the martial path and was seriously injured in 3 moves. Before he died, his resentment was very deep. Another tragic child. If it was me, I would rather pretend to be a coward first and kill them when I have the strength. Lin Fei wasn't a good person. Otherwise, he wouldn't have been able to do well in university. If the situation was better than you, then you should pretend to be a coward. One day, you will be the master. After understanding the cause and effect, Lin Fei suddenly realized that this matter of learning from each other wasn't simple. It was obvious that they wanted to kill him. Subconsciously, Lin Fei began to think of himself as the real Lin Fei. Suddenly, he felt an inexplicable sense of danger. It's just a small monthly competition. Even if it's just learning from each other, it doesn't make sense for them to go all out after 3 moves. They just want me to be seriously injured and die. F***CK. So shameless. How much hatred do they need to do this? After thinking carefully, Lin Fei finally had a clue. It seems like the identity of the Lin family's third young master is not easy. The divine Martial Gate's enemy family wants me dead, and the family exiled me. This F** king identity. Lin Fei's brain quickly turned, and he quickly understood what was going on. The Lin family's current strength was very strong. If he died in the divine Martial Gate, the Lin family would definitely be in turmoil. Even in terms of face, the Lin family wouldn't be able to raise their heads for a long time. It was equivalent to a disguised attack. They have already dealt with me once, and I'm afraid there will be a second time. I have to think of a way. I, Lin Fei, can't be a coward for the rest of my life. If I want to resist, I will kill you sooner or later. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. Since young, he was a person who didn't like to lose, and he treated his enemies 100 times more ruthless than them. Even if he transmigrated to another world, it was still the same. He didn't want to die carelessly, and his good life hadn't even started yet. Zhang Zhongxing, Li Xiao, you wait and see. F***CK. Is my talent really that bad? After checking his talent, Lin Fei's face became depressed. Previously, he had thought that the only way out of this predicament was to cultivate and work hard to become stronger. However, after searching through his memories, his face turned bitter, and he let out a long sigh. His eyebrows furrowed deeply, and the last bit of confidence he had had was obliterated. At the age of 17, his talent was average, and at the worst, he would be at the fourth heaven of martial path, and his body would be able to circulate Xian Qi, and his strength would increase greatly. But Lin Fei's body was only at the second heaven of martial path at the age of 17. This gap was too embarrassing to mention. He himself would feel embarrassed. The continent Lin Fei was in was called the Xintian continent. It was vast and boundless, and the population was huge. The Beluo dynasty he was in was just a small dynasty. On the continent, everyone cultivated Xian Qi, a special kind of energy. Lin Fei was currently at the second heaven of martial path, and he was in the Qi drawing stage, so he couldn't use Xian Qi. He was seriously injured in the arena, and that guy was Zhang Zhongxing, who was at the fourth heaven of martial path. Xian Qi could already flow through the meridians in his body, and he could use it to attack the enemy. How could Lin Fei win by relying on moves? It was like an egg hitting a stone. He was so weak that he couldn't withstand a single blow. I'm a time traveler. Am I going to die like this? Great, you're finally awake. While Lin Fei was struggling with how to face the future crisis, the big wooden door opened. No, it should be said that it was knocked open. He turned his head with difficulty, and under the setting sun, a tall figure stood at the door. The narrow wooden door seemed to be blocked by a small mountain. Burly tall, Lin Fei immediately came to his mind. If he was on Earth, he would definitely be a powerful existence. Lin Fei immediately recognized that this tall man was called Master, which was a very funny name. His parents were really good at naming people, and they were really superior. In the Divine Force sect, Lin Fei's only friend. Yes, I'm awake. It seemed that his memory had merged, and Lin Fei felt that his tone had changed a lot. Master, this guy was not polite at all. He sat down on the bed, and the wooden bed suddenly sank, as if it would collapse at any time. Seeing that Lin Fei's complexion had improved, he sighed softly, and immediately his eyes revealed a cold light. Son of a bitch, don't let me see you next time. Sooner or later, I will teach those bastards a lesson. Lin Fei knew who the master was talking about, and his heart couldn't help but feel warm. This was a friend. This was a good brother. In his memory, after becoming an outer disciple of the Divine Force sect, the person who helped him the most was the master next to him, who saved him a lot of trouble. After cursing for a while, the master looked at his good friend, opened his mouth, and wanted to say something. However, he swallowed it several times, as if he was hiding something in his heart and didn't want to say it. Master, are you hiding something from me? Lin Fei looked at the master. In his memory, once the master wanted to hide something, he would always want to say it, but every time he opened his mouth, he didn't want to say it. Hey, don't be angry after hearing it. The master did not dare to look at him. Just now when I came back from outside, I heard about your punishment from the Outer Sect Law Enforcement Hall. In the next half a month, I am afraid you will be sent to the farm to slaughter low-level beasts. In the Divine Force Sect's monthly competition, anyone who lost would be punished. To put it simply, they would be sent to do odd jobs for half a month. All Outer Sect disciples had to follow the rules. Lin Fei had lost in the arena, so there would definitely be a punishment. Slaughtering low-level beasts in the farm, for the current Lin Fei, was not an impossible task. This is going too far. Lin Fei didn't need a guess to know that it must be that group of bastards, and he would only be at ease if he killed them. The master had been looking at Lin Fei worriedly. In the past, if he heard something extreme, this brat would definitely fly into a rage. However, his behavior today was unexpected, and he didn't have much of a reaction. Chapter 19. 3 days later, in the morning, the Divine Martial Sect was as usual. The outer disciples did what they were supposed to do, and everything was progressing in an orderly manner. Outer disciples could be seen everywhere, busying themselves with their daily tasks. As long as an outer disciple wasn't an inner disciple, they couldn't be exempted from their daily tasks. This was the iron rule of the Divine Martial Sect. Among the outer disciples, those with outstanding talents could be exempted from their daily tasks. This was their only privilege. Amidst the mountains, on a winding mountain path, the mountain breeze blew countless fallen leaves. At this moment, a young man with an extremely pale complexion was walking down the mountain path. His brows were sometimes furrowed and sometimes relaxed. The young man's expression was very focused, and from time to time, surprise could be seen in his eyes. If someone's ears were sensitive, they would definitely hear the young man muttering to himself. F***CK. The Divine Martial Sect is so rich. Just a simple tour of the mountains and rivers has become the property of the Divine Martial Sect. If they build a villa district on the mountain, they would definitely make a fortune. Compared to this, those **T mansions are nothing. Look at this scenery, the towering peaks. What **T scenery? District 3A is nothing compared to this. At the beginning, there weren't many people on the mountain path. As they approached the mission district of the Divine Martial Sect, the number of outer disciples on the mountain path gradually increased, and all sorts of noises could be heard. Look at that sickly guy. Isn't that Lin Fei? The talkative outer disciple suddenly shouted when he saw Lin Fei. The outer disciples that passed by the mountain path all looked at Lin Fei as if they were looking at a monster. Then, all of them started to mock him. Lin Fei? That idiot Lin Fei? Who else could it be other than him? I didn't expect him to survive 3 attacks. He's really lucky. Look at his complexion. He's probably not far from death. Does he really think that he's a peerless genius when he's at the second heavenly layer of the martial path? What the F***CK? When those outer disciples saw an opportunity to mock him, they didn't mind saying all sorts of malicious words, as if they were afraid that others wouldn't know. A bunch of fools. Lin Fei's mental fortitude was strong, and rumors were nothing to him. As a university student of the 21st century, he possessed an unparalleled mental fortitude. A little sarcasm was nothing to him. Similarly, Lin Fei looked down on them. They were a bunch of people with dark hearts who had nowhere to vent their frustrations. They felt like they were scoundrels who read books on the internet and specialized in scolding others. They scolded other people's books to the point that there was nothing good about them, and they were secretly very excited to read them. Lin Fei magnanimously forgave them in the face of a group of mentally unstable haters. Poor baby. The mission area of the Divine Might Gate. Anyone who lost the monthly competition would have to go to the Divine Martial Gate to receive a mission. Only after completing the task could they continue to cultivate. This was a kind of supervision and punishment measure of the Divine Force Sect, which had always been hated by the Outer Sect disciples. You're that Lin Fei who overestimates himself. Listening to the big fatty's arrogant manner, Lin Fei would have punched him in the nose if they were in university. This was not the way to act cool. I'm Lin Fei. The big fatty's eyes narrowed into a slit. He took out a book, and, after some searching, he took out a sheepskin scroll. He glanced at it with surprise and threw out a black iron plate. low-rank demonic beasts area, slaughter demonic beasts for half a month. Lin Fei had heard the news from an expert, so he wasn't too surprised and took the iron plate. I understand. From the beginning to the end, Lin Fei had been very calm. After getting the iron plate, he turned around and left, walking towards the low-rank demonic beasts area. Lin Fei, Lin Fei, who asked you to be so reckless and offend a few outer-sex senior brothers? Don't even think about completing the task in half a month. Stay in the low-rank demonic beasts area as a butcher for the rest of your life. However, looking at your complexion, it's hard to say whether you can survive or not. Ooh, Lin Fei let out a long breath. Looking at the blue sky and white clouds above his head, his eyes flashed with determination. Damn, it's a tragedy to be weak, but I won't admit defeat. I will definitely find a chance to stand out. Relying on his memory, after walking around for an hour, Lin Fei arrived at the low-rank demonic beast area. Before he entered, a thick smell of blood assaulted his face, almost suffocating him. The low-rank demonic beast area had a large number of low-rank demonic beasts. Through special feeding, they would eventually become food for the divine martial sex senior brothers. These low-rank demonic beasts' flesh and blood had the effect of strengthening qi and blood. Their fur was also a big source of income for the divine martial sect. Change your clothes. Let's get to work. Lin Fei endured the smell of his breath. After explaining the purpose of his visit, he was immediately taken away by a senior brother steward. An unknown beast skin shirt and a short knife that looked like a kitchen knife were brought to a butcher's essential tools. Lin Fei nimbly changed his clothes. Carrying the demonic beast knife, he was brought to the wooden butcher's block. The wooden block was like a huge plate, and the chopping board was covered in blood, leaving behind mottled cracks. In a distance, many outer sect disciples were looking at this newcomer with schadenfreude. There's another newcomer, but he looks too weak. What are those people up there doing? Even this kind of person was sent here. Later on, when we kill a duck, he might be bitten to death by a duck. Haha, that's really interesting. I'll bet a tale of silver that this kid can't even kill a single duck. Who dares to bet with me? A tale of silver, I'll bet. Hearing the mockery, Lin Fei felt disdain in his heart. When I'm angry, I even dare to kill people. Isn't it just a mutated duck? It's not like I haven't killed one before. Lin Fei took a deep breath and grabbed the duck in the cage. It was said that it was a rank 1 demonic beast, similar to the ducks on Earth. It was very strong, its claws were very sharp, and its meat was delicious. It was the favorite meat of many disciples. Quack, quack, quack. The duck flapped its wings, trying to fly away from Lin Fei's hand. However, the huge force almost caused him to lose his grip. In an instant, a few cuts appeared on his hand, causing the crowd to burst into laughter. You're courting death. Throwing the duck on the chopping board with all his might, Lin Fei's face darkened. Even though he had changed his body, he nimbly raised the demonic beast knife in his hand and slashed at the duck's neck. In an instant, blood splattered, and because Lin Fei couldn't dodge in time, some of the blood splattered on his face, making him look exceptionally hideous. Right at this moment, a sudden change occurred. Beep. Upgrade system. Version 0 officially activated. Game loading complete. Data loading input. Beep. Upgrade system 0, update complete. Launch complete. Successfully killed a first-order demonic beast, feather duck. Obtained 10 experience points. After slaughtering a first-order demonic beast, Lin Fei's body was already weak. After killing the demonic beast with a single slash, his hands were powerless to support himself on the chopping board. He was in a state of shock. The unknown voice was like a demonic voice, revealing a sense of familiarity. F*CK. Isn't this the upgrade system that I used to fix the bug? Lin Fei finally recalled that when he went back to check for bugs in the game, it was a game called Invincible Upgrade. It was this game that allowed him to become a member of the army of transmigrators. Before he could digest this sudden change and understand why it was happening to him, the cold mechanical voice sounded once more. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the Upgrade System version 0 upgrade gift pack. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining 100 taels of silver. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining 10 chi amassing pills. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the first layer of the martial path as a reward. 1 marrow cleansing pill and 300 taels of silver. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for obtaining the second layer of the martial path as a reward. 3 meridian expanding pills and 500 taels of silver. Lin Fei's brows twitched. He was dumbfounded. He grinned widely. Chapter 20. When the change happened, Lin Fei was in extreme shock. In the eyes of others, Lin Fei seemed to be scared silly by the blood. They all showed a contemptuous look, as if saying, I knew this kid would be like this. Sigh, each generation is worse than the last. I killed 10 ducks in one breath. My hands are not soft, and my heart is not beating fast. Such similar words were everywhere. In the eyes of those butchers, the small things in the process were nothing more than a joke. Damn, I'm rich. Transmigrators really have special treatment. If there were not people present at the moment, Lin Fei would have roared at the first moment to vent the depression of the past 3 days. I finally have a change of fortune. About the time it took to burn an incense stick, Lin Fei's mind was still echoing the words of the system. Invincible Upgrade was the latest leveling game developed by Lin Fei's company. There were all kinds of support functions in the game, and it strived to find the feeling of fun in the game. When he first saw it, he loved it so much that he couldn't put it down. He tried it many times, and it was a great game. Lin Fei never thought that one day he would get an Invincible upgrade system. God is really good to me. What's there to be afraid of if I'm not talented? What's there to be afraid of if I'm not talented? I have the upgrade system, my capital to make a comeback. At this moment, Lin Fei was completely excited, as if he had been injected with chicken blood. Before transmigrating, Lin Fei had a full understanding of the Invincible upgrade system. This was an auxiliary game character upgrade. As the character upgraded, all kinds of treasures would be given. It was a game that pursued cool. Because the upgrade system was in a state of development, it was not yet available to the general game players. Unknowingly, Lin Fei became the first beneficiary. Now he could finally say, I have the upgrade system. Who's afraid of who? After search, Lin Fei found the upgrade system as he wished. He didn't know when it had existed in his mind. Opening the upgrade system, as usual, Lin Fei got personal information. Player, Lin Fei. Level, Second Heaven of Martial Path. Distance from the next upgrade. Martial Arts, none. Combat Skill, none. Treasure, none. Divine Power, none. Overall evaluation. Player Lin Fei is just an ant. 300 rank, 1 demonic ducks are enough to kill you mercilessly. Damn, when did I become so weak? After seeing the system's evaluation, even if Lin Fei was thick-skinned, he still couldn't hide his shame. He was completely speechless. Just what kind of leveling system was this? After a brief shock, Lin Fei was immediately attracted by the items in the small warehouse. A marrow cleansing pill, 3 meridian expanding pills, 10 chi gathering pills, 900 taels of silver. Wow, these are all good things. For the current Lin Fei, they were like meat pies falling from the sky. Lin Fei almost drooled. He couldn't help but be excited. After inheriting the memories of his previous master, Lin Fei, this imposter who had transmigrated here had a certain understanding of the prices of goods in the Xintian continent. In the Xintian continent, the common currency was silver and gold. If a martial artist wanted to become a martial arts expert, he would need to consume food that contained a large amount of blood qi to replenish his body's qi and blood. Apart from that, he would also need silver to buy martial arts, medicinal pills, weapons, and so on. Silver was very important. 900 taels of silver. For Lin Fei, who was currently unloved by his grandmother and unloved by his grandfather, it was no less than a small amount of income. It temporarily satisfied his awkward situation of being short of money. A single coin stumped a hero. Lin Fei was almost stumped. Silver was a must. The medicinal pills of the Xintian continent were undoubtedly the essential items that every martial artist dreamed of obtaining. The marrow cleansing pill, chi gathering pill, and meridian expanding pill that he had obtained through the system's rewards were all priceless among the outer court disciples. Energy gathering pills could increase the rate of absorption when cultivating profound energy. Outer sect disciples could get one every month, and if they sold it outside, it would be worth 1,000 taels of silver. The marrow cleansing pill was even more famous. When the disciples of the divine martial sect were allowed to enter the inner court, they could obtain a marrow cleansing pill for free. It was said that the earlier the marrow cleansing pill was taken, the better it would be. The last one was the meridian expanding pill, which would cause a stir in the divine martial sect. A martial artist's future strength was determined by the amount of qi contained in his meridians. If he wanted to be stronger than others, his meridians must be able to transport more qi. Any martial arts would be much more powerful and superior to others. The meridian expanding pill was a rare medicinal pill that could expand meridians. Anyone who consumed the meridian expanding pill would unknowingly expand their meridians, allowing more qi to pass through. For example, if the amount of qi passed through before was 1, then after consuming the meridian expanding pill, the amount of qi passed through would be 5. That was how precious it was. Now that I have the upgrade system, you bunch of bastards, just wait and see. Lin Fei subconsciously brought himself into the system. 3 days ago, he was still thinking hard about how to guard against schemes in the dark. After obtaining the upgrade system, no matter how stupid Lin Fei was, he knew that his future would be glorious. Killing a first-rank demonic beast gives me 10 experience points. Is it like in the online games? If I kill another 100 demonic beasts, will I advance to the third sky of martial arts and accumulate qi? As a gaming otaku, Lin Fei immediately understood what was going on and almost jumped 3 feet high. The upgrade system is indeed a heaven-defying thing. I can't easily expose it. Just nice, I can hide this place from everyone and use it to upgrade. Killing 100 first-rank demonic beasts and advancing a small realm. Even Lin Fei himself felt that it was unbelievable. Didn't that mean that he would soon advance to the 4th sky of martial arts, or even the 9th sky of martial arts, which he didn't even dare to think about? The untouchable Xianqi realm seemed to be beckoning to him. Lin Fei suddenly felt like he was going to faint from happiness. On the Xintian continent, martial artists cultivated qi. At the beginning of a martial artist, there were a total of 9 realms. The 1st sky of martial arts was the lowest, and the 9th sky of martial arts was the highest. Currently, Lin Fei was in the 2nd minor realm, qi gathering. The first 3 minor realms were the lower levels of martial arts. The focus was on improving the body and nurturing qi, laying a good foundation for the cultivation of qi. From the 4th sky of martial arts to the 6th sky of martial arts was the middle level of martial arts. When one began to cultivate qi, qi would flow through the body and their strength would increase greatly. They could break stones and break stones with a wave of their hands. From the 7th sky of martial arts to the 9th sky of martial arts was the high level of martial arts. At this level, one could fly in the air for a short period of time and use qi to form weapons. In a family, one could be an elder. After the 9th sky of martial arts was the Xianqi realm, which was the dividing line. When one stepped into the real door of martial arts, one would become a real powerhouse. Fortunately, Lin Fei was a time-traveling otaku. Keeping a low profile was always the way to go. Zhang Chongshan, Li Xiao, you 2 bastards, just you wait. When I advance to the 4th sky of martial arts, sooner or later I will make you kneel in front of me and sing Conquer 100 times. A ruthless light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. In Lin Fei's eyes, the first-rank demonic beasts had become mission items to complete the mission. Chapter 21. The noon sun was scorching like a burning furnace, and the earth was exposed to the scorching sun. Divine Martial Gate, demonic beast slaughterhouse. This was the place that outer disciples hated the most. In the past few days, all the outer disciples were shocked by one thing. A new outer disciple actually took the initiative to request for more slaughtering tasks. Yi Huan, who had been a small leader for so long, could not understand what was going on. At this moment, a group of people were sitting together, bragging and gossiping, talking about everything. Damn, Lin Fei has improved so much. I'm not even as fast as him now. What a monster. When he first came, he looked dizzy. Damn, in just a few days, he killed rank 1 and rank 2 demonic beasts so quickly. I thought I was seeing things. Hee, if it weren't for that brat Lin Fei, how will we have the time to sit down and chat? Why don't we make a bet today? Let's bet on how long Lin Fei will take to kill all the demonic beasts today. Haha, I like that. Yi Huan was a small leader in this area, in charge of supervising everyone's work. It was a good position. Yi Huan had some understanding of Lin Fei's background. He was a brat who thought highly of himself. In the arena, he was hit by the fist technique of an expert at the 4th heaven of martial path, but he did not die. In the end, he fell into Yi Huan's hands and became a butcher of low-level demonic beasts. Slaughtering demonic beasts seemed easy, but those who did not know the inside story would not like to work here. Low-level demonic beasts were low-level, and accidents were common during the slaughtering process. When Lin Fei came, he looked very pale, and he might die in the mouth of a low-level demonic beast. Yi Huan had always thought so. Unexpectedly, on the 3rd night, Lin Fei came to him personally, asking for more tasks. Yi Huan naturally had no objections. In every area of the slaughterhouse, it was fine as long as the tasks were completed on time. As for the arrangements, the higher-ups did not care. After agreeing, Yi Huan did not take it to heart. Later, there was news that Lin Fei immersed himself in practicing killing low-ranked demonic beasts and fainted on the ground several times. People thought that he was trying to show off. No matter how many low-ranked demonic beasts he killed, it was impossible for someone at the 2nd sky of the martial path to fight against the 4th sky of the martial path. After this process lasted for 5 days, everyone discovered an unexpected scene. Lin Fei, who originally thought that he would die in the mouths of low-rank demonic beasts, started to transform for some unknown reason. He slaughtered demonic beasts with a single slash. His saber art was like an antelope's horn, untraceable and sharp. It's a pity that this kid isn't a butcher. Yi Huan lazily opened his eyes and could not help but praise him. Even he himself did not know how many times he had praised him. Lin Fei's progress in slaughtering demonic beasts was amazing. In Yi Huan's eyes, he was just talented in this aspect. Obviously, the benefits he brought were obvious. The tasks he completed every day began to far surpass the tasks of several regions. In front of the other leaders, he gained a lot of face. The rank 2 pine wood rat was flung onto the wooden stake that reeked of blood. The saber in his hand fell, and with a flash of cold light, a rank 2 pine wood rat died before it could resist. Its blood spurted all over the ground. Killed rank 2 pine wood rat. Obtained 30 experience points. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for completing the level-up task and successfully advancing to the 4th heaven of the martial path. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for successfully advancing to the 4th heaven of the martial path. Obtained the mysterious skill Vajra Body. Obtained 700 taels of silver. Lin Fei let out a long breath. His eyes flashed with joy. Phew, I've finally reached the 4th heaven of the martial path. A total of 13 days had passed since he received the level-up system. In just 13 days, Lin Fei had suffered a lot and successfully advanced 2 small realms, reaching the 4th heavenly layer of the martial path. The xianqi in his body formed a cycle, and the pores all over his body felt cold. The xianqi was about to break out of his body. This was the sign of the 5th heavenly layer of the martial path, the xianqi leaving his body. Lin Fei took a deep breath. His expression did not change, and he continued to kill the pine wood rat. Boy Lin, good job. I didn't give you this important task in vain. Yi Huan came over and patted Lin Fei on the shoulder, as if to say, work hard and I'll give you a raise soon. Thank you for your compliment, Steward Yi. I'll continue to work hard. Although Lin Fei said this, he despised Yi Huan in his heart. If I hadn't bribed you with 50 taels of silver, you wouldn't have done this job for me. I'm doing well now, but you come to pretend. You're really thick-skinned. Good job today. Go back and rest. Yi Huan praised his employees like a big boss. Even if Yi Huan did not mention it, Lin Fei would have mentioned it. The significance of advancing to the fourth heaven of the martial path was extraordinary, and there were many things he could do. After packing up the tools, Lin Fei said goodbye and left the slaughterhouse directly. In a dark room, the setting sun shone in and reflected in the dark room, and the air was slightly damp. This was the place where the disciples of the Divine Force sect lived for military service. Looking at the empty room, it was clear how many people there would carry out the rules. Lin Fei wished that they did not come in, so as to avoid trouble. The whole Divine Force sect would be shocked if the news spread that he had advanced 2 small realms in 13 days. 6 days ago, Lin Fei stepped into the third heaven of the martial path, and the system rewarded him with a bladesmanship called One Cut in Two, which was specially used to slaughter demonic beasts. His proficiency level had reached the expert level. If he had not learned the One Cut in Two bladesmanship, Lin Fei would not have been able to do it so quickly and easily. He opened the upgrade system. A secret manual appeared in Lin Fei's hand out of thin air. It was called Indestructible Body of Vajra. At the third heaven of the martial path, he received a bladesmanship. It was only one bladesmanship, and it worked every time it was used on low-level demonic beasts. As for its specific power, Lin Fei had never been sure. Originally, when he reached the fourth heaven of the martial path, Lin Fei had hoped to obtain a fist technique. All Chinese men dreamed of being a hero, and fist techniques were undoubtedly the most attractive. This indestructible body of Vajra mysterious technique must be something extraordinary. I wonder if it can be cultivated to the level of the legends? Also, what rank is this martial arts secret manual? In the Xinjiang continent, secret manuals were also divided into different levels. Heaven, Earth, Xian, and Huang. The heaven level was the highest, and the Huang level was the lowest. Each level was divided into upper, middle, and lower levels. What level did the indestructible body of Vajra belong to? Lin Fei was a homebody. He had heard of this secret manual countless times, but he never thought that he would have the opportunity to learn it. With its reputation, he did not dare to look down on it. The power of a bladesmanship rewarded by the third heaven of the martial path was not to be underestimated. What about the indestructible body of Vajra? Player Lin Fei, are you sure you want to learn the indestructible body of Vajra? Yes. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for successfully learning the indestructible body of Vajra. The system automatically learned the secret manual. In Lin Fei's mind, there was a warm feeling. All the mysteries of this mysterious technique reverberated clearly in his mind. Chapter 22. Early morning at the gate of divine might. White fog shrouded the mountains. At first glance, it looked illusory, like the residence of an immortal. Bang, bang, bang. In the forest, there was a rush of sounds, startling the birds in the forest. At the same time, it was accompanied by the sound of someone trying to cover up their breathing. It was extremely clear in this forest. It turned out that this was a nameless mountain within the gate of divine might. Very few people would set foot here. In the sparse forest, there was a young man with a delicate face and a bare upper body. He was standing in front of a towering tree. His fist was covered in blood, and he threw punch after punch at a constant speed. When his fist landed on the tree, there was a solid dong, dong, dong sound, affecting the muscles in his body. This young man in front of him was Lin Fei. After learning the invincible Vajra body, Lin Fei understood the power of this mystic technique. The process of cultivation was extremely painful, but it could build a strong body. For the future, Lin Fei gritted his teeth and fought. Huff, huff. Congratulations to player Lin Fei for reaching the intermediate level of the invincible Vajra body. This was followed by the notification of the upgrade system. Lin Fei placed his hands on the tree, his forehead covered in sweat as he gasped for breath. He opened his attributes. Player, Lin Fei. Level, 4th tier of the martial path. Distance to next upgrade. Martial arts. Saber technique. Expert level of 1 cut in half. Invincible Vajra body. Lesser mastery. Battle technique. None at the moment. Treasure. None at the moment. Mystique. None at the moment. Overall evaluation. Player Lin Fei is barely an expert. Defeating a fourth tier of the martial path is a piece of cake. Damn, is there a mistake? Lin Fei was shocked, struggling with the evaluation given by the system. At the fourth tier of the martial path, the Xian Qi in one's body would be activated. After cultivating mystic techniques, one could produce a powerful attack. For example, a purely physical attack could produce a force of 500 kilograms. After cultivating mystic techniques, even if it was a low-grade yellow-class technique, the force could reach at least 1,000 kilograms. The gap between their Xian skills was like the difference between heaven and earth. In addition to a saber technique, Lin Fei currently had a defensive mysterious art on hand. Defeating someone at the fourth heaven of the martial Dao was an incredible thing. What was the reason? Lin Fei was a gaming otaku. He calmed himself down and pondered over the details. Once he understood, why should he continue to keep a low profile? Cut it in half. Suddenly, Lin Fei moved. The profound qi in his body circulated, as if he had turned a saber technique into a hand saber. There was not the slightest bit of hesitation. With a whizzing sound, the veins on his bronze-colored arm bulged, and he landed on the tree trunk in front of him with the momentum of a thunderbolt. Gotcha! A shocking scene appeared. The sturdy tree trunks were like dried-up fields under Xiao Chen's chop. Cracks spread out like a spider web, causing everyone's scalps to go numb. Terrifying. Lin Fei looked at his right hand, which had returned to its original state, and looked at the scene in front of him incredulously. It was incredible that a little enlightenment could produce such a sharp attack. After connecting the dots, Lin Fei finally understood everything arranged by the upgrade system. The benefits of taking the marrow cleansing pill and then the meridian expanding pill were obvious. Just now, Lin Fei's attack was no less than a mid-grade yellow rank attack, right? Immediately, his brows furrowed slightly. The attack is powerful, but the profound qi in my body has been absorbed by 1/3. It's too terrifying. I barely launched 4 attacks. The enemy didn't die, but I will die. Lin Fei shook his head. The lack of profound qi was a problem. It seems that I have to go to the Hidden Art Pavilion in person and choose a profound art mental method to make up for this defect. In the Divine Force sect, any outer disciple who reached the fourth heaven of the martial Dao could choose a profound art mental method and a profound art for free. After that, the selection of profound art required Divine Force sect contribution points. I didn't expect the Invincible Vajra body to be compatible with the cleave in half-saber technique. It is indeed sharp. I wonder what level my defense has reached. After seeing the compatible move just now, Lin Fei was very interested in this profound art. Let's start with you. On the nameless barren mountain, there are many rocks. Lin Fei chose a huge black rock that weighed a few hundred kilograms. He activated the Invincible Vajra body and smashed it with a powerful punch. Kacha, kacha, kacha. With a pure Invincible Vajra body. With this punch, Lin Fei was surprised to find that his physical attack had unknowingly increased. He could actually shake the hard black rock. If it was under normal circumstances, a pure fourth heaven of the martial Dao would not be able to make a crack on a rock that weighed a few hundred kilograms. Lin Fei immediately understood, and then he laughed out loud. Ah, the heavens are really helping me. So the legends are not fake. The Invincible Vajra body at the intermediate small success realm has already reached such a terrifying level. What about the advanced expert level? To live, leveling up was a must. Lin Fei was still using his saber to kill low-level demons. The cleave and half-saber technique had been comprehended to the extreme. When the demons fell into his hands, they could not resist at all and were killed with one strike. This was the true proof of the essence of the saber technique. On this day, Lin Fei was using his saber to kill demons. Senior brother Lin, something bad has happened. Someone barged in from outside and rushed directly to Lin Fei's position. Lin Fei looked up and recognized the person. He was called Zhao Hu, and he was on good terms with the experts. Over time, they got to know each other. Junior brother Zhao Hu, what's going on? Why are you so flustered? Lin Fei frowned. He had a bad feeling about this. Just like his name, Zhao looked like a tiger, but his strength was not strong. Currently, he was only at the third heavenly layer of the martial path. Panting, he said, "Senior Brother Gao, he and Zhang Zhongshan are sparring on the stage, and no matter how we persuade him, he won't come down. Senior Brother Lin, you should go and persuade Senior Brother Gao. I heard that Zhang Zhongshan has recently learned a low-grade yellow rank Xian technique. Zhang Zhongshan, you deserve to die." Hearing this, Lin Fei flew into a rage. The demonic beast saber in his hand glowed with a cold light as it landed on the wooden pillar. The wooden pillar, which had existed for an unknown period of time, was unable to withstand the attack and immediately shattered into pieces. Zhao was slightly stunned, and his eyes flashed with shock. He thought to himself, when did Senior Brother Lin Fei become so strong? Zhao was very clear about Lin Fei's strength. He thought that it was done in anger and did not pay much attention to it. He hoped that it could persuade Senior Brother Gao to come down. On the road to the gate of divine force, Lin Fei finally knew what was going on. Some time ago, the expert wanted to take revenge for Lin Fei. Because there was a small realm difference between them, he held back and did not make a move. Recently, he successfully advanced to the fourth heaven of the martial Dao and could practice Xian techniques. With his innate divine strength, he was a little famous in the outer sect. When the expert advanced to the fourth heaven of the martial Dao, he immediately looked for Zhang Zhongtian, who had injured Lin Fei. Naturally, the two of them sparred in the arena. Coincidentally, there was news that Zhang Zhongtian had learned a yellow inferior grade Xian technique. The situation was extremely disadvantageous for the expert. Thus, this scene happened. "Zhang Zhongtian, if you dare to hurt a hair of the expert today, I will make you die a horrible death." While running, his fists were clenched so tightly that they made cracking sounds. A cold light flashed in Lin Fei's eyes. Chapter 23. The Divine Force Sect Martial Arts Field. In such a big sect, there were always some unsolvable disputes. The Divine Force Sect didn't allow disciples to kill each other. Therefore, the arena competition came into being. In addition, the Divine Force Sect carried out monthly competitions. After half a year, disciples would come to the martial arts field to exchange pointers. No matter what it was, especially private fights, it was strictly forbidden. Violators would be severely punished. Generally, things that couldn't be solved were usually solved in the arena. The winner was king. The outcome of the arena determined the direction of the matter. It had always been popular among disciples. Similarly, in addition to solving disputes, the arena was also a place for disciples to exchange pointers. As long as there was no killing, the Divine Force Sect's top management wouldn't interfere. In the words of the Divine Force Sect's top management, disciples who didn't exchange pointers were like tigers without claws and teeth. If they didn't grow in battle, they would never be able to become strong. Today, the Divine Force Sect martial arts field was mostly occupied by outer disciples. Inner disciples went out to cultivate and experience all kinds of things. Inner disciples didn't care about the outer disciples sparring. Their goal was to reach a higher realm, and they didn't have time to waste on it. No wonder he's our Senior Brother Gao. His divine strength is amazing. He's really powerful. He can actually tie with Senior Brother Zhang. Damn, you don't understand. How could Senior Brother Gao be Senior Brother Zhang's opponent? In terms of realm, Senior Brother Gao has been in the fourth heaven of martial Dao for a year. His control of the qi in his body is not something that Senior Brother Gao can compare with. This Senior Brother is right. I heard that our Senior Brother Zhang recently cultivated a yellow lower grade Xian art. Once he shows his trump card, Senior Brother Gao has no choice but to lose. The outer disciples were in groups of 3 to 5, discussing the situation on the arena from time to time. On the arena, there were many figures crisscrossing back and forth. Bam! The two of them exchanged blows, then dodged to the side and pulled apart the distance. Junior Brother Gao, if you want to defeat me with this little ability, then you'll regret it. If you kneel down and beg for mercy, I can let you go without saying a word. Zhang Zhongshan looked cultured and elegant. He wore a white robe and looked like an elegant young master. He spoke confidently to the person in front of him. The expert frowned. Although he seemed to be careless, there was a tinge of finesse in his roughness. He coldly snorted, "Humph, if you have any skills, bring them out. The expert, have never been afraid. You and I are both at the fourth sky of the martial path. Do you think I would be afraid of you?" Zhang Chongshan was so angry that he laughed. "Good, very good. Junior brother Gao is stubborn. It just so happens that I have just learned a fist technique. Later, my fists and legs will have no eyes. Please forgive me." His words seemed to be light and airy, but in reality, there was a hidden meaning behind them. Many outer disciples below the stage could not help cursing in their hearts. What a shameless fellow. What looked like a simple sparring ring was actually a battle between the poor and the noble families. Among the outer sect disciples, the commoners were on one side, while the aristocratic disciples were on the other. The two sides were like fire and water, constantly fighting each other. The commoners of the commoners naturally hoped that the expert senior brother would win and raise their sect's reputation. After hearing this, they secretly cursed Zhang Zhongshan for being shameless and bullying the weak. The expert senior brother had reached the fourth sky of the martial path. At most, he could learn a first or second grade Xian skill. A Huang level Xian skill, even if it was a low grade one, still cost a few thousand taels of silver. It was far from what the commoners could afford. This was the difference between commoners and aristocratic families. Using a low-grade Huang level Xian skill to defeat someone who had never learned a Huang level Xian skill was simply an unfair victory. In the Xintian continent, a low-grade Xian skill could often make one an expert. The expert senior brother did not have a Huang level Xian skill, and his martial arts were inferior. He could not defeat his opponent. This was the reason why everyone was angry. A bunch of arrogant commoners. The power of the aristocratic families is not something you can imagine. Today, I will use you to establish my power. You can only blame yourself. You shouldn't have stood up for that trash, Lin Fei. Zhang Zhongshan laughed coldly in his heart. As for being shameless, it did not matter. The winner was king, and everything was decided by the winner. Broken Jade Hand, a low-grade Huang level Xian skill. Zhang Zhongshan stretched out his left hand. His originally white palm instantly turned green. It was as green as the night, bringing with it a dangerous aura. Even before he made his move, the dangerous aura permeated the entire arena, causing everyone to feel a sense of fear and retreat. Even if it was a low-grade Huang level Xian skill, it was not something a first or second-grade Xian skill could defend against. The difference in grade made it impossible for people to ignore its power. Everyone's expression changed. It was as if they were the ones on the arena. A low-grade Huang level Xian skill was not something they could defend against. The expert's face was solemn. He believed that he was born with divine strength, but he had no confidence against a low-grade Huang level Xian skill. He gritted his teeth and decided to take the initiative. Fierce Tiger descends the mountain. Fierce Tiger Fist, a first-grade Xian skill, was known for its ferocity. Combined with natural divine strength, it would be extremely terrifying, surpassing ordinary disciples of the same generation. It's just a first-grade Xian skill. Break it in front of my broken jade hand. The difference between a low-grade Huang level Xian skill and a first-grade Xian skill was not something an ordinary person could make up for. Below the arena, everyone could only see a green palm imprint. It was as if there was no one who could stop it. It broke through the ferocious tiger fist technique and landed on the chest of the senior brother expert. A muffled groan sounded in midair, and a figure was immediately sent flying like a kite with a broken string. A low-grade Huang level Xian skill was defeated in one move. Lin Fei had enough Xian Qi and was faster than Zhao Hu. Expert. As soon as he arrived at the gate of God Martial Arts, Lin Fei saw the expert being sent flying out of the arena with one move. He did not know if he was dead or alive. His body moved instantly and flew towards the expert, catching him. The strong impact still made Lin Fei take a few steps back before he could stand firm. Expert, how are you? Are your injuries serious? The expert struggled to open his eyes and couldn't help but spit out a mouthful of blood. Lin Fei, why are you here? Go back. You are not his opponent. Don't go up Even if the expert had expected the broken jade hand, the fist technique's power was still beyond his imagination. He couldn't even block one move. He couldn't help but feel depressed. When he saw Lin Fei appear, he immediately became nervous. He was afraid that the impulsive Lin Fei would go up the arena again. Don't talk. Take care of yourself. Lin Fei put the expert down and took a deep breath. He raised his head and looked at the white-robed Zhang Zhongshan on the arena. A cold light flashed in his eyes. Zhang Zhongshan was the enemy that he hated the most in his memory. The originally fused memories had a short, emotional fluctuation. It was a kind of resentment in the depths of the soul. It could be seen that Zhang Zhongshan had left a deep resentment in the memory of the previous Lin Fei. Regardless of the previous life or this life, I am now Lin Fei. Your enemy is my enemy. Your woman is my woman. From today onwards, I will complete all the things that you can't do in your memory. Let's start with Zhang Zhongshan. Lin Fei's eyes flashed. He took a deep breath and changed his previous style. His whole body, spirit, qi, and spirit instantly changed. Chapter 24. Lin Fei's not-so-tall body instantly grew taller like a towering mountain. Among the outer disciples, Lin Fei could not be considered famous. On the contrary, he was a nobody. If not for the change in the monthly competition last month, he would probably still be a nobody. It was a pity that his reputation wasn't too good. Instead, he was labeled as a madman and was looked down upon by others. A mere cultivator at the 2nd level of the martial path challenged a cultivator at the 4th level. Lin Fei became the center of attention once again. I'm not seeing things, right? Isn't he that arrogant Lin Fei? When did he come here to show off? Junior brother, you're not mistaken. He's Lin Fei. Do you see his clothes? I can guarantee that he must have come out from the slaughterhouse. I can smell the stench of blood on him from afar. That brat Lin Fei suffered the last time. Doesn't he understand the difference between the two of them? Isn't he courting death? The outer disciples were in an uproar once again. Lin Fei was just a cultivator at the 2nd level of the martial path. Did he not know that he would come out dead if he went up today? This was simply looking for trouble, asking for a beating. Zhang Zhongshan's face was calm as he defeated a cultivator at the 4th level of the martial path with a single move. It was as if he had accomplished something insignificant. He thought to himself, a mere grassroots disciple doesn't deserve to be my opponent. He's simply courting death. Although he had controlled his strength in that move, the other party would need at least a month to recuperate. This jade-breaking hand, a low-tier yellow-rank mystical art, was well spent. Just when he was feeling happy, he suddenly heard that he was being challenged. He doubted his ears. It's you? Lin Fei. Zhang Zhongshan turned his head. He almost thought that he had seen wrongly. This trash actually wanted to challenge him? Could it be that he had been beaten silly? Senior brother Zhang, you're not mistaken. I'm Lin Fei. What's wrong? Are you surprised? Or are you afraid to accept my challenge? Lin Fei remained calm as he looked at Zhang Zhongshan on the stage. If Lin Fei didn't have complete confidence, he would definitely not go up against Zhang Zhongshan, who had learned a low-grade yellow-rank Xian art. Zhang Zhongshan probably wouldn't mind killing him. Now that he had the strength of the 4th tier of the martial way and cultivated the single-cut cleaving technique, as well as the invincible Vajra body, Lin Fei was confident that he could defeat his opponent. Zhang Zhongshan's lips curled up into a smile, causing quite a few female disciples to cheer and laugh. One could see just how charming he was. In Zhang Zhongshan's eyes, Lin Fei was a piece of trash. He had wasted his good family background and caused a huge disaster. As for why he wanted to get rid of Lin Fei, Zhang Zhongshan didn't care. There was no other reason. Lin Fei, this bastard, dared to lay his hands on the goddess in his heart. If he didn't die, his heart wouldn't be at ease. After getting rid of Lin Fei, he would be on good terms with the city lord. Why not? Originally, he thought that Lin Fei wouldn't be able to take 3 punches from him and would die from serious injuries. In the end, this kid survived. Zhang Zhongshan was thinking about how to send this kid to heaven. Just when he wanted to doze off, someone sent him a pillow. Zhang Zhongshan accepted Lin Fei's life without hesitation. How can I reject a junior brother's challenge? However, I'm afraid that during the spar, I might not be able to control my hands and feet. Junior brother, you have to be careful. Don't end up like junior brother Gao, making your whole body uncomfortable. I'm just a lowly person. Lin Fei smiled. It's hard to avoid injuries in a spar. Isn't this the hidden meaning of the arena? As a person who had traveled through time, how could he not understand the meaning behind Zhang Zhongshan's words? He was obviously trying to kill him. Serious injuries, relapse, Lin Fei didn't need to think and instantly understood Zhang Zhongshan's plan. Zhang Zhongshan was slightly stunned. If it wasn't for the Lin Fei in front of him, he would have thought that he had recognized the wrong person. When did Lin Fei start to be reasonable? Wasn't he just walking into a dead end? No matter what, he had to deal with this kid today. On the arena, facing Zhang Zhongshan once again, Lin Fei had a desire to release. Although it had only been 10 days since his last defeat, Zhang Zhongshan was like a huge mountain, pressuring him to the point where he couldn't breathe. It was as if there was a boulder in his heart, making him uncomfortable. If it wasn't for the unexpected appearance of the level-up system, Lin Fei wouldn't have any confidence against Zhang Zhongshan, who was at the 4th level of the martial path, especially since the other party cultivated a low-grade, yellow-ranked mysterious art. The gap between them would be infinitely wide, and in the end, they would become existences that he could only look up to. Everything will start from today. The impact of Lin Fei's stand on Zhang Zhongshan's side was not small. Junior brother, I haven't seen you for 3 days. Let me experience junior brother's skills. Zhang Zhongshan didn't know why, but facing the calm and unrestrained Lin Fei, a bad thought popped up out of nowhere. From the beginning until now, Lin Fei's performance had exceeded his previous performance. He vaguely had the demeanor of an expert. No matter what, he couldn't accept this. How can mere trash have the demeanor of an expert? Sky-piercing fist. It was rare for a martial artist's intuition to be wrong. Zhang Zhongshan didn't take it seriously, but he still couldn't help but make the first move. No matter what kind of weirdness you have, once you fall into my hands, you won't be able to turn the situation around. With this move, Zhang Zhongshan's feet tapped on the ground, and he leaped more than 3 meters high. His whole body was like a cannonball, and both of his fists were like iron hammers, cutting through the air, bringing with it an explosive sound as he smashed towards Lin Fei. Exploding Heaven Fist, a first-class mysterious art. As expected, you want my life. My life isn't that easy to take. Not good. Junior brother Lin Fei's life is in danger. Zhang Zhongshan's first attack was the Exploding Heaven Fist, which was known for its ferocity. Borrowing the momentum from the high ground, it displayed a tyrannical attack that was not inferior to the ferocious Tiger Fist. Earlier, the expert had exchanged a punch with Zhang Zhongshan, so it could be seen how sharp this fist art was. How could Lin Fei block this attack? Seeing Zhang Zhongshan use the Exploding Heaven Fist again, the expert, who was being supported by others below the stage, couldn't help but vomit a mouthful of blood. Lin Fei won't be so lucky this time. This is called the evils you bring upon yourself. There are always some people who think they're infallible. They never learn from their mistakes. They deserve to die. Below the stage, almost no one was optimistic about Lin Fei's chances. The disparity in strength was too great, which resulted in the disparity in the might of the mysterious arts. For a family disciple like Zhang Zhongshan, who had money to purchase mysterious arts, it was clear that he had the upper hand in a fight. Zhang Zhongshan descended from the high ground, but Lin Fei didn't panic. He was as calm as he was before. Junior brother, let's see how you're going to deal with this move of mine. Zhang Zhongshan used the Exploding Heaven Fist just in case. With a ferocious attack, he could severely injure his opponent with a single punch. Seeing that the attack was about to reach him, Lin Fei didn't retaliate. Instead, he executed the spiritual monkey somersault, which made him look like a monkey. In an instant, he dodged out of the range of the attack and scuttled away. This was the most ordinary movement technique of the divine martial sect's outer disciples. Zhang Zhongshan wasn't a newbie. He was a little surprised that his attack failed, but it was just a surprise. His fist turned into an eagle claw, and with a tap on the stage, he turned into a shadow and pounced at Lin Fei. Eagle claw art. Let's see where you can run to. Second grade mysterious art, eagle claw art. Lin Fei, who was scuttling away, turned around and rushed back with a sneer on his face. His palm turned into a saber, and the color of copper flashed. Have. Saber art have. Lin Fei had traveled through time, so he knew all the common knowledge of attacks in his memory. It took a moment to switch between mysterious arts, and this was Lin Fei's chance. In terms of mysterious arts, he wasn't as good as his opponent. Once he used his trump card, he could confuse his opponent with weakness, and then counterattack. He would definitely succeed. Good lad, I've underestimated you. However, if you think that you can defeat me like this, it's simply a joke. Eagle claw art, tear for me. Zhang Zhongshan was indeed fooled by Lin Fei, who actually chose to switch his skills to launch an attack, which made him slightly startled. What a smart choice. Immediately after, he was infuriated. How can a mere lad be worthy of attacking him? Have eagle claw art. The two collided, and the mysterious chi in Lin Fei's body erupted. Damn, how did your cultivation reach the fourth sky of martial path? The moment they clashed, Zhang Zhongshan's face changed. Chapter 25. The timing of Lin Fei's counterattack was impeccable. There was no lack of experienced disciples below the stage who could see through it with a single glance. Fourth layer of the martial Tao. Someone suddenly shouted. Clearly, it was a subconscious shout. All the disciples were shocked, wondering if they had heard wrongly. A kid at the second heavenly layer of the martial Tao had crossed 2 small realms in less than half a month and entered the 4th heavenly layer of the martial Tao. What kind of talent was this? Before the 3rd heavenly layer of the martial Tao, it belonged to the lower realm of the martial Tao. After reaching the 4th layer of the martial path, the Xian Qi in one's body would flow freely and one's strength would increase tremendously. One would be able to practice all kinds of Xian Qi and would be considered as a mid-level martial path cultivator. Among the outer disciples, one would have a small say, how is this possible? There must be a mistake. F***CK, there can't be a mistake, right? What kind of elixir did that kid eat? How could he enter the 4th heavenly layer of the martial path? Damn it, Lin Fei has really turned things around. No wonder he dared to challenge senior brother Zhang. So what if he's at the 4th heaven of martial path? Senior brother Zhang's yellow class cultivation method is far from what junior brother Lin can contend with. Damn, I'm still at the 3rd heavenly layer of the martial path. Lin Fei had played a big joke on everyone. Apart from being shocked, there were also very few people who thought that Lin Fei could win. Even though they were in the same realm, he was far from being a match for Lin Fei in terms of Xian skills. Just based on the exploding Heaven Fist, Eagle Claw art, and the 1st and 2nd class Xian arts, Lin Fei was not qualified to possess them. Defeat was only a matter of time. On the other side, the expert's injuries were not light, but he was still shocked by Lin Fei's performance. When did he advance to the 4th heaven of the martial path? If it weren't for the other disciples, the expert would have suspected that he had seen wrongly. Junior brother Lin Fei, you've finally grown up. The 4th heaven of the martial Tao against the 4th heaven of the martial Tao, it was unlikely to be seriously injured. The qi in the body could protect the internal organs. The master let out a long sigh of relief. It was only a matter of moments in the arena. The second-rate profound art, eagle claw art, was broken. Zhang Chongshan's expression changed once again. This was a second-rate Xian art, the eagle claw art. The power of a single claw could even crush a hard boulder. When the eagle claw art had clashed with that ordinary hand blade, it was as if the eagle claw art had clawed at an iron plate, not moving an inch. On the contrary, his own eagle claw art had been completely broken. Victory or defeat was decided in an instant. Seeing that his eagle claw art had been broken, Zhang Chongshan's face turned pale. He felt an intense pain coming from his fingers, and he almost wondered if he had hit an iron plate. Your eagle claw art is only SOSO. Bam! Lin Fei let out a cold harumph. He used his hand like a saber and slashed at Zhang Zhongshan's chest in an overbearing manner. Kacha! Zhang Chongshan was unable to circulate his Xian Qi. His Xian Qi covered his entire body, but he was still unable to resist the blade. He spat out a mouthful of blood and flew out like a kite with a broken string, falling onto the arena. Your attack. How can it break through my defense? Zhang Zhongshan's face was pale. He raised his head with great difficulty, his face filled with disbelief. He couldn't even block a single move and was defeated by Lin Fei. This was something that he couldn't accept. The intense pain from all over his body undoubtedly told Zhang Zhongshan that he was really injured, and the injury was not just ordinary. He gasped for breath, his chest was in intense pain, and he didn't know how many bones were broken. How could this be? Senior brother Zhang actually lost. Below the arena, all the disciples were dumbfounded. At the same time, they all sucked in a breath of cold air. That most ordinary attack was actually able to block the second-rate Eagle Claw art and even seriously injure senior brother Zhang Zhongshan. What kind of joke was this? The truth was placed in front of them, and they couldn't accept it for a moment. That arrogant person, who was once defeated by Zhang Zhongshan in their eyes, was trash in their eyes. He actually gave him a ruthless slap in the face, causing them to feel a burning pain. Lin Fei, he actually won. The expert's eyes suddenly flashed with something called inconceivable, and he was in extreme shock. Junior brother Lin Fei, well done. This was the expert's heartfelt words. Lin Fei's thunderous defeat of Zhang Zhongshan undoubtedly gave the grassroots disciples a special sense of achievement, as if they had won on the arena. Senior brother Zhang, thanks for letting me win. Lin Fei strode over, his mood exceptionally good. The influence that he had been under all this time had disappeared, no longer affecting him. At the same time, he was more or less afraid of Zhang Zhongshan's strength. If he hadn't learned the intermediate-level Invincible Vajra body, that Eagle Claw art would have injured him. As expected of a family disciple, the Xianqi in his body was no weaker than Lin Fei's. The combination of Invincible Vajra body and saber techniques created such a ferocious attack, which was completely beyond Lin Fei's imagination. Usually, when he practiced this move, Lin Fei used 30% of his Xianqi. Today, in order to teach Zhang Zhongshan a lesson, Lin Fei used 60% of his Xianqi in exchange for serious injuries. If he used 100% of his Xianqi, it would be hard for Zhang Zhongshan not to die. Zhang Zhongshan, who was lying on the ground, was looked down upon by a defeated opponent. His face alternated between green and red, then black. Cough, cough, junior brother Lin, I still underestimated you. No matter how you cultivated to the 4th tier of the martial path, I, Zhang Zhongshan, have lost today. Next time, you definitely won't have such a good chance. A defeated opponent, if not for his mistake at the crucial moment and the inexplicable attack, Zhang Zhongshan would not have lost. Moreover, the yellow class Xianqi had not been used yet, so it was difficult to determine the winner. Lin Fei was just using a trick, it was nothing. Next time, Lin Fei must die. What are you doing? Seeing that Lin Fei did not leave the arena, but instead squatted down, Zhang Zhongshan could not help but be furious, and suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Senior brother Zhang, have you forgotten the rules of our sect? Anyone who wins in the sparring arena can take away one item from their opponent as a spoil of war. Lin Fei said with a serious expression as his eyes swept over Zhang Xin's body. Zhang Zhongshan was furious, and once again spat out a mouthful of blood, dyeing his white robe red. Obviously, he did not expect that Lin Fei would be so daring to take his things. Lin Fei frowned, stood up, and said to everyone with a face full of grievance, Senior brothers and junior brothers, what I said just now should not be wrong, right? The rules of the divine martial sect, when did they not exist? Senior brother Zhang was defeated, and junior brother Zhang wanted to take a trophy to encourage himself, so that in the future he would not forget the lessons of the predecessors. Is this wrong? Isn't everyone right? Lin Fei, you little bastard, you are so vicious. Zhang Zhongshan was so angry that he almost fainted. He did not expect that Lin Fei would be so cunning. The divine martial sect had always had this rule, but very few people enforced it. It was not because they did not dare to, but because they were afraid of the consequences. Lin Fei's words were undoubtedly revealing the truth. Senior Brother Lin Fei, we support you. The rules of the divine martial sect cannot be abandoned. We support you. Lin Fei had never been honest since he was in university. Even if he had transmigrated to the Xintian continent, he would not miss the benefits he should have. He would defeat you in front of everyone and rob you of your things, making you unhappy for the rest of your life. Especially after seeing the power of a yellow-class mysterious art. Lin Fei had his eyes on this mysterious art. Fortunately, his memory was good, or else he would have forgotten the rules of the divine martial sect. Junior Brother Lin, you are ruthless. Let's wait and see. Zhang Zhongshan was so angry that he almost died. He never thought that one day he would end up like this. After today, he would never be able to raise his head again. Lin Fei smiled. I'll wait. However, I advise you to rest well. If you continue to vomit, no matter how much blood you have, it won't be enough for you. Puff! He spat out a few more mouthfuls of blood. Squatting down, he fumbled around recklessly. He did not need silver, nor did he need banknotes. When he touched the thick book, Lin Fei smiled happily. As expected, the yellow-class mysterious art, broken jade hand. Senior Brother Zhang, I happen to be lacking a mysterious art. I want this broken jade hand. Please don't take offense. While Lin Fei spoke, his hands did not slow down at all. He quickly put them away. Regardless of whether you agree or not, I'll take them first. You dare. You're courting death. Give me back my yellow-class mysterious art. Before he could finish his sentence, Zhang Zhongshan was out of breath. His vision darkened, and he fainted. He had spent a lot of effort to get this yellow-class mysterious art from his big brother. This time, he suffered a great loss. Sigh, this kid has a heart problem. Why can't he take this little stimulation? Chapter 26. The divine martial gate's disciples below the stage never expected Lin Fei to be so domineering. Based on past situations, it was very rare for someone to snatch away another person's belongings after losing in a duel. However, it just so happened that Lin Fei was so daring. His words made it impossible for anyone to refute him. From the beginning to the end, no one could feel Lin Fei's tyranny. On the contrary, it was a kind of encouragement to them, setting a good example. It was precisely because of this that many of the disciples of the various clans suffered, and many good things were robbed. The one who caused this was Lin Fei. With Lin Fei's great victory, the grassroots disciples were in a great mood. They never thought that a family disciple would have such a day. Lin Fei had stolen the jade-breaking hand cultivation technique. The clan disciples were different. They looked at Lin Fei as if they wanted to eat him alive. Zhang Zhongshan had been at the fourth sky of the martial path for a long time, and it was only a matter of time before he entered the fifth sky. However, he did not expect to meet with Lin Fei, and failed miserably. Their clan disciples were all humiliated. The most important thing was that Zhang Zhongshan actually carried the low-grade yellow rank Xian art, broken jade hand, with him everywhere he went, yet it was snatched away by that brat Lin Fei. How lucky was he? A yellow-level Xian art worth 10,000 silvers. When Lin Fei took out the secret manual, the family disciples below the stage wished that they were in his place. They could only watch helplessly as the secret manual was taken away. They felt as if their hearts were being cut by a knife, yet they couldn't find any reason to make things difficult for him. Lin Fei, you are courting death. You are going against the clan disciples. If Lin Fei did not take away the broken jade hand, we would not even need to do anything. Zhang Chongshan's cousin, Zhang Fenglang, is an expert at the sixth sky of the martial path. He's quite famous in the outer sect. He will definitely teach Lin Fei a lesson. What? Zhang Fenglang is Zhang Chongshan's cousin? This is going to be a good show. I heard that Zhang Zhongshan has another big brother. Zhang Fenglang has always been Zhang Zhongshan's right-hand man. Lin Fei is just asking for trouble. That's right. Lin Fei is just a mere Zhang Fenglang. When the time comes, Lin Fei will be like a dead dog waiting to be kicked off the stage. Lin Fei must have used some secret technique to advance to the fourth sky of the martial path. He will not be able to improve in this lifetime. He will never be able to stand out against our clan disciples. When Lin Fei got off the stage, The disciples of the various sects hurriedly carried Zhongshan away. Staying on the stage was like slapping their faces, making them feel extremely uncomfortable. Senior brother Lin Fei, good job. That group of bastards always bully us grassroots. Lin Fei fought too well. You're our role model. Senior brother Lin Fei, you did a good job. You beat them until they cried out in pain. As soon as Lin Fei came down from the stage, he was immediately surrounded by his juniors. All sorts of flattery filled his ears, and it took him a lot of effort to squeeze his way out. This feels great. It's no wonder why movie stars like to walk the red carpet. It gives me a sense of achievement. The feeling of being the center of attention made Lin Fei want to let out a long roar to vent the anger that had been hanging on his head for a long time. This was how the future should be. Expert, are your injuries better? There was no lack of recovery pills among the disciples. Even though the expert's face was still pale, his aura was much better than before. He would need to recuperate for at least a month. Lin Fei, you really hit it for me. The expert was indeed shocked by Lin Fei's performance. Not to mention, he had defeated Zhang Chongshan with lightning speed, something that even he couldn't do. Haha, it was just a fluke. I took a shortcut, Lin Fei said humbly. No matter what, everyone knows that you won against Zhang Chongshan. I'm really happy about it. When you recover, let's drink till we're drunk. The expert was in a good mood, and he couldn't hide the excitement on his face. However, you have to be careful of Zhang Chongshan's group. They definitely won't let this matter rest. You've skinned the faces of their disciples, and they'll definitely find trouble with you. I can see that you don't know much about mystical skills, so it's best for you to go to the Hidden Technique Pavilion and choose a suitable mental cultivation technique as well as a mystical skill, just in case. The expert's eyes were like torches, and he saw through Lin Fei's flaws, so he couldn't help but remind him. Actually, even if the expert didn't mention it, Lin Fei already had this thought in mind. What happened today was purely an accident, and the benefits were obvious. Not only did he obtain a yellow-ranked jade breaking hand, which was worth 10,000 taels, he also realized the difference between mystical skills. In the next few days, I'll personally go to the Hidden Technique Pavilion. The expert was sent back to recuperate. On the other hand, Lin Fei returned to the slaughterhouse and continued to complete the outer gate tasks. In 2 days, the half-month period would be over, and he would regain his freedom and no longer be restricted. On the arena, the news of Lin Fei's battle with Zhang Chongshan spread like wildfire among the outer gate's low-ranking disciples. Although they couldn't be compared with the high-ranking outer gate disciples for the time being, no one dared to mention the arrogant hat of the past. For the high-ranking outer gate disciples, what happened on the arena was just a small game, and they didn't take it seriously at all. No matter how powerful the low-ranking disciples were, in their eyes, it was nothing to send them off the arena with a slap. In the demonic beast slaughterhouse, what happened outside also spread to the demonic beast slaughterhouse. Lin Fei's status instantly rose. Yi Huan, the small leader, no longer dared to look down on Lin Fei, and even personally sent back the 50 taels of silver bribed, for fear that Lin Fei would bear a grudge against him. 2 days passed in a flash. Lin Fei came out of the task area with the task completion form. When Lin Fei thought of the fatty's respectful demeanor last time, Lin Fei was in a good mood. In the Xintian continent, strength was the only thing that mattered. Looking at the blue sky and white clouds above, Lin Fei felt like he was dreaming. In just half a month, his life had changed dramatically. Now it's time to go to the Library of Skills. The Library of Skills. The Divine Might sect was an important place. No matter which sect, the Library of Skills had always been an important place. It contained a large collection of skills left by generations of disciples. No matter which magic skill it was, once it was spread outside, it would definitely cause a bloodbath. To enter the Library of Skills, one must first determine one's strength. This process was very fast. During the examination, the Divine Might sect's deacon could check the strength in person, let alone the fourth sky of martial path. The token of the Divine Might sect was filled with new information. The fourth sky of martial path, Lin Fei. This is the Library of Skills? Lin Fei stood in front of a towering ancient building that was filled with a sense of history and sized it up. As a transmigrator, Lin Fei was very excited about the Library of Skills. It was a legendary existence. He didn't think he would finally have the chance to enter today. After taking a few deep breaths, he lifted his legs and walked into the Library of Skills. Walking into the Library of Skills, there was a gray-robed old man at the door. He had a lazy look on his face, as if he was an ordinary person. He didn't know why, but Lin Fei felt something called danger from him. It was as if his whole body was seen through and he wasn't wearing any clothes. What a scary person. This old man must be an expert. The gray-robed old man checked his identity, threw the token back, and said in a lazy voice, "With your current identity, you can only stay on the first floor for half an hour. You can choose a mental skill or a magic skill. Remember, do not try to go to the second floor. If you die, don't blame me for not warning you." Chapter 27. Lin Fei did not dare to doubt the old man's words. From his words, he could hear a strong sense of warning. He came to the conclusion that the old man must be the guardian elder of the Hidden Art Pavilion. After you have chosen your mystic art, come to me to register. Remember, you're currently at the 4th level of the martial path, so you can only choose one mystic art. The other one is an auxiliary mystic art. You may go now. Lin Feng left respectfully. For some reason, standing in front of the guardian elder, Lin Fei felt a lot of pressure. His heart was pounding, as expected of the guardian elder. After pushing the door open, the first floor of the Hidden Art Pavilion entered Lin Fei's sight. Rows of neatly arranged wooden shelves filled with a long history and an ancient aura drifted toward Zhangxian. This is the Hidden Art Pavilion. Even though it was his first time here, he could not forget about the Hidden Art Pavilion. In his dreams, he seemed to dream of entering it himself one day. He took a deep breath and suppressed the excitement in his heart. He was finally qualified to enter the Hidden Art Pavilion. In the next breath, Lin Fei's face turned bitter. He could not help but slap his forehead. Damn, there's so many mystic arts. How long do I have to choose in half an hour? If I had known, I would have asked first. Do I have to read them one by one? Lin Fei was in trouble. The first floor of the Hidden Art Pavilion was not just a few people, but rows of wooden shelves, like a library. According to his estimation, there were at least tens of thousands of books in front of him. Tens of thousands of books. Lin Fei was speechless again. Forget it, forget it. I'll take it one step at a time. The Hidden Art Pavilion, as the name suggested, was a place to collect mystic arts. The Divine Force sect, one of the 3 major sects of the Invincible Empire, had a collection of mystic arts that ordinary families could not compare to. This was a foundation. Mental arts, fist arts, leg arts, composition arts, blade arts, sword arts. All kinds of mystic arts were collected in different categories. At least Lin Fei did not have to continue searching blindly. Fist art, Arhut fist, 3rd-rate mystic art. Fist art, Sun King fist, 2nd-rate mystic art. Sword art, Sunset sword art, a 1st-class mysterious art. Sword art, Qing Yun sword art, a 1st-class mysterious art. Leg technique, Wind God's kick, a 3rd-rate mysterious skill. Along the way, all kinds of fist arts, sword arts, and saber arts appear before his eyes, dazzling him. There are so many secret manuals on the 1st floor of the book depository. What about the next few floors? Lin Fei didn't dare to continue imagining it. Remembering the words of the Pavilion Guardian Elder, he didn't dare to continue recklessly. Along the way, Lin Fei experienced the story of the monkey descending the mountain. Why did one drop a watermelon and pick up a sesame seed? It seemed that he was in this position. There were too many Xian techniques, and he didn't know where to start. Fortunately, before Lin Fei came, he had given it some thought. Mental cultivation methods were of utmost importance. They were related to his future achievements, so he could not afford to be careless. Let's go to the mysterious art mental cultivation method area first. The Hidden Technique Pavilion was separated into different categories, so it was very easy to find the corresponding area. Xiangong Mental Cultivation Area. Damn, this Xian art mental cultivation method is too. Lin Fei stood in the middle of the wooden shelf. Both sides of the shelf were filled with mysterious art mental cultivation methods. Roughly counting, there were no less than a few hundred mysterious art mental cultivation methods. At a glance, it was so densely packed that he had no idea where to start. Ice Chi, first-class magic skill. He casually pulled out a book. There was an introduction in the table of contents. Ice Profound Chi, a first-rate profound art with a total of 10 levels. Upon mastery, the Ice Profound Chi can turn the area within a radius of 10 feet into a world of ice and snow, injuring the human body and freezing the profound Chi. After reading the introduction, it was not difficult for Lin Fei to imagine that the power of Ice Chi was simply a sharp weapon to hurt people. The power is not bad, but it's not what I need. Lin Fei shook his head, put the Xian Chi back to its original position, and continued to search. Blazing Sun Heart Sutra, second tier mysterious art. Six Harmonies Heart Sutra, a third-rate mysterious skill. Immovable Overlord Heart Sutra, first-class mysterious art. Sky-splitting Blazing Sun Mantra, a first-class mysterious art. It had to be mentioned that there were many Xian Chi mental cultivation methods, just like shopping in a shopping mall. In a short time, half an incense had passed, but he had not found a satisfactory Xian Chi. Lin Fei could not help but feel anxious. If he could not find a suitable Xian Chi mental cultivation method, it would have a great impact on his future. In a hurry, Lin Fei began to speed up his search. One book after another, Lin Fei would immediately make his choice after taking a look at them. Hey, why are there a few lonely books here? On the wooden shelf, looking down, Lin Fei was used to placing the Xian Chi mental cultivation methods. Not knowing why, at a glance, he saw a few Xian Chi on a wooden shelf not far away. Not knowing why, he walked over unconsciously. After a rough look, there were a few secret books on this wooden shelf. Overlord Heart Sutra, first-class Heart Sutra, incomplete, recommended not to learn. In a flash, Lin Fei understood what was going on. It turned out that these Xian Chi mental cultivation methods were all collected from the outside. Lacking a part of it, it was not recommended to learn. After inheriting the cultivation memories, Lin Fei was clear about the Xian Chi mental cultivation methods. The Xian Chi mental cultivation method must be complete. Losing a part of it, the Xian Chi mental cultivation method would not be able to reach perfection, and his strength would be greatly affected. What a pity for these Xian Chi mental cultivation methods. Lin Fei could not help but feel that it was a pity. If it was a complete Xian Chi mental cultivation method, its value would be even greater. The incomplete Xian Chi mental cultivation method was first-class Heart Sutra, and the whole one might even be a yellow rank Heart Sutra. 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra, first-class Heart Sutra, incomplete, recommended not to learn. Just as he saw a few words, an accident occurred. Beep! The task window activated. Discovered the missing 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra. Accept? The sudden sound of the system shocked Lin Fei. Before he could react, the cold voice sounded again. Discovered the missing 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra. Accept. As a gaming otaku, Lin Fei immediately reacted and almost burst into laughter. He had unintentionally discovered a hidden mission, and now an unknown mission popped up. He was shocked. Could it be that he had really become an online game? Accept. Task window activated. Search for the missing 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra. Current status: incomplete. Mission reward: unknown. After looking through it, Lin Fei almost vomited blood. It was not easy for him to trigger a mission, but he was confused. Could it be that the search for the 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra was a mission? Lin Fei was very surprised that he had accidentally triggered a mission. He opened the leveling system once more, and the originally dull and colorless system finally brightened up. Anyone who had played online games would know that accidentally triggering a mission would result in a bountiful reward. Even Lin Fei did not expect it to be like this. Chapter 28. What was going on? Make Lin Fei excited? As it turned out, the Xian cultivation method that he had worked so hard for finally had a source. His luck was so good that it was found by Lin Fei, and he unintentionally opened the quest system. The 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method, as the name suggested, required one to reach the level of 9 revolutions in order to cultivate it to the greater success stage. Each revolution had its own mystical aspects. Just from the literal meaning, one would not be able to see the magic in it. Lin Fei was the same. 9 Revolutions Heart Sutra, a first-rate profound art, incomplete, not recommended to practice. Note, this profound art Heart Sutra was handed over by this disciple after killing a person. Once one's profound chi reaches the first revolution, one's profound chi will undergo an earth-shattering transformation, and its power will surpass that of ordinary profound chi. The only regret is that this Heart Sutra is extremely difficult to practice and requires comprehension ability. It's a pity that it lacks the follow-up Heart Sutra. At most, one can only practice until the 9th heaven of the martial Tao. If one did not read the introduction of the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method, it would be difficult to understand its profundity. Your father's luck is really good. The 9 Revolutions cultivation method is just right for me. Comprehension is not difficult for me at all. Once I cultivate the 9 Revolutions cultivation method, my power will surpass ordinary people. If I use the yellow class cultivation method, I'm afraid I can kill your opponent with one move. Lin Fei thought to himself, flipping through the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method in his hands. Lin Fei subconsciously had a question. Could it be that this 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method has a separate manual for each realm? Compose the real 9 Revolutions mantra? He couldn't figure it out. He couldn't figure out how to issue a search mission. If it was someone else, they would just change to a different cultivation method. Lin Fei couldn't do it. The mission system was activated by accident. Taking root and germinating, changing the mysterious art mantra wasn't possible. The 9 Revolution mantra isn't bad. As for the other incomplete mantras, I'll ask the Pavilion Guardian Elder about the 9 Revolution mantra when I get out later. The cultivation method of Xiangong was put into practice. Lin Fei felt a lot more relaxed. All that was left was a supplementary mysterious technique. At the 4th heaven of the martial Tao, the Xian Qi in the body had just begun to circulate. It was not a good thing to cultivate an excessively powerful Xian Qi. Lin Fei already had a plan for this. He planned to learn a fist technique that was open and broad, with the meaning of charging forward. The single cut in 2 saber technique was incisive and unpredictable. This was far from enough, and he also had the Invincible Vajra body at the initial realm. Learning a fist technique was a must. The best defense was to keep attacking. Lin Fei was a firm believer in these words. Attack, 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 attack until the opponent had no ability to retaliate. Thinking about the power of the indestructible body, coupled with the ferocious fist techniques, it was simply the most ferocious in the world. The fist technique was extremely powerful. It was enough. The Overlord Fist art is a first-class mysterious art. The Great Destruction Fist art, a second-grade profound art, won't do either. Flowing Cloud Divine Fist, a second-rate Xian art. In the end, according to the requirements, Lin Fei chose a third-rate Xian Gong called Universal Six-Direction Fist as his auxiliary Xian Gong. At the registration office at the entrance of the Hidden Art Pavilion. Are you sure you want to learn the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method? A hint of surprise flashed across the gray-robed old man's calm face. This 9 Revolution mental cultivation technique had existed for a long time, and there were very few people who were willing to cultivate it. Those who succeeded in cultivating it were all people with extremely strong comprehension abilities. Lin Fei's heart skipped a beat. He couldn't help but feel nervous, thinking that he couldn't cultivate it. He maintained a calm face and asked foolishly, "Senior brother, this 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method can't be cultivated? The name looks very domineering, and I feel that it suits me quite well." The old man in gray heard this and really didn't know what to say. The 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method is not a self-created mysterious art mental cultivation method of the Divine Force sect. This mental cultivation method was obtained by a disciple of the Divine Force sect outside. In the beginning, there were many people who cultivated this mental cultivation method. The power of this mental cultivation method is extraordinary, but it is not enough. The only regret is that after this mental cultivation method is cultivated to the ultimate realm, if there is no next mysterious art mental cultivation method, your strength will remain stagnant for the rest of your life. If it is not necessary, do not cultivate it. The old man in gray thought that it was necessary to remind him. Although an outer disciple was not as good as an inner disciple, after all, he was a member of the Divine Force sect. Moreover, this kid looked silly, and it was very likely that he didn't know anything. Maybe he was cheated by someone. Could it be that this mysterious art mental cultivation method can't be changed halfway? Lin Fei asked curiously. In the beginning, there were people who regretted cultivating it and focused on other mysterious art mental cultivation methods. Unfortunately, this mysterious art mental cultivation method has a strong repulsion. No matter what kind of mysterious art one cultivates, the mysterious qi produced will be suppressed and can't be used. Lin Fei couldn't help but be shocked and thought, damn, the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method is really awesome. No wonder I will trigger the task system. It seems that it is destined. Thank you, senior brother, for enlightening me. I still want to cultivate this mysterious art mental cultivation method. Lin Fei said gratefully. The old man in gray was still surprised. As an elder of the Hidden Skill Pavilion, it was natural for him to give advice to the younger generation. As for how the younger generation chose, it had nothing to do with him. Moreover, he had already seen that this disciple's talent was average. If he could cultivate the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method, it would be enough. It just depended on his comprehension. Mysterious art mental cultivation method, 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method. Third-rate mysterious art 8 desolation, 6 united fist, must be returned to the Hidden Skill Pavilion within a month. If there is any loss, must report at once. Back from the Hidden Skill Pavilion, Lin Fei returned to his residence. Within the Divine Force sect, anyone who had advanced to the fourth sky a martial path would obtain a small courtyard that belonged to them. They could use it to cultivate alone without being affected by the outside world. It was a good welfare measure within the Divine Force sect, and it was the first goal for the outer disciples. After returning to his residence, Lin Fei took out the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method, 8 desolation, 6 united fist, and broken jade hand. One of them was even a low-grade yellow rank mysterious art that was worth 10,000 silver. The 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method. Lin Fei was determined to learn it. No matter what flaws there were, the mission system was bound, and naturally, it was impossible to give up. A few days ago, when Lin Fei defeated Zhang Zhongxing in the arena and snatched his yellow class cultivation technique, he had relied on the element of surprise. Once Zhang Zhongxing used his mystic arts, he would definitely not have a good ending. This was something that Lin Fei knew very well. The second crisis followed. Lin Fei felt a great sense of crisis. At present, the most important thing was to improve his strength as soon as possible. There was not much time left for him. The 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method has a total of 10 levels. Once I cultivate to the 4th level of the 9 Revolutions, I don't have to worry about martial artists at the level of Zhang Zhongshan again. I can definitely defeat them easily. It doesn't matter if you don't have talent. It doesn't matter if you don't understand it. Everything can be done with the upgrade system. This was the reason why Lin Fei was so confident that he could cultivate the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method to the 4th level in a short period of time and make up for the lack of mysterious qi. The 4th level of the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method, 8 desolation, 6 united fist, at least reached the initial realm. At that time, who would be afraid of who? A chill flashed in Lin Fei's eyes, and he picked up the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method. Discovered the 9 Revolutions mental cultivation method. Player Lin Fei, are you sure you want to learn it? With the prompt of the upgrade system, Lin Fei was finally relieved, and a smile subconsciously hung on his mouth. Chapter 29. On this morning, the large area of the Divine Martial Sect was bathed in the sunlight. The sky was clear for thousands of miles. It was another good day. A few aggressive outer sect disciples headed in one direction, immediately attracting the attention of the outer sect disciples. What were those people doing? Did something big happen? Our divine martial sect is one of the three great sects of the Buluo dynasty. Who dares to cause trouble in our sect? They must be tired of living. I seem to know that person. Oh, right, I remember now. Isn't he Zhang Fenglin? A very famous person in our outer sect, and also a disciple of the Zhang clan. It can't be. Why is Zhang Fenglin here? Could it be because of Zhang Chongshan? Yes, that must be it. Lin Fei, that brat. Not only did he injure Zhang Chongshan, but he also stole a low-grade yellow-class mysterious art. This is like a slap to the face of the clan disciples. No wonder these people are so aggressive. Lin Fei is dead for sure this time. Even Zhang Fenglin came personally. I heard from a few friends that Zhang Chongshan's injuries were not light. 4 of his ribs were broken, and he almost lost his life. In the end, he ate a green jade pill and still needs to rest for a month. During this time, he can't fight. Zhang Chongshan was defeated by a loser. Everyone in the outer sect knew about it. If they didn't take revenge, they would lose face. In just a few days, Zhang Fenglin came personally. The outer sect disciples were in an uproar. Zhang Fenglin came personally. He was at the 5th sky of the martial path and had some achievements among the outer sect disciples. Dealing with Lin Fei, who had just entered the 4th sky of the martial path, was as easy as chopping vegetables. 1 to 10, 10 to 100. When the news spread, the outer sect disciples went into a frenzy. Among them, the craziest were the clan disciples. Ever since Lin Fei's incident, their clan disciples started to have bad luck. In a few sparring sessions, they were robbed of something valuable, causing them to lose a lot of strength. The culprit, Lin Fei, was undoubtedly gnashing their teeth in anger, wishing that they could tear him into pieces. When Zhang Fenglin made his move, if the family disciples didn't see Lin Fei's misfortune for themselves, they wouldn't be able to accept it. Thinking of being trampled under Zhang Fenglin's feet, they would definitely feel very emotional. Many of the family disciples began to let their imagination run wild. Lin Fei's private residence. Bang, bang, bang. A hurried voice came from outside and entered the cultivation room. What the hell? How are people supposed to continue cultivating like this? A dissatisfied voice sounded in the cultivation room. The person who spoke was none other than Lin Fei, who had never left his house since he started cultivating the 9 revolution mantra. Lin Fei's eyes were filled with displeasure. He stood up and let out a long sigh. What a pity. I could have broken through just now, but I was interrupted. Sigh. Ever since he started cultivating the 9 revolution mental cultivation technique, Lin Fei could not wait to increase his strength. Apart from eating, he never left the cultivation room. The urgent danger created an even greater motivation. Senior Brother Gao, why are you here? Coming out of the cultivation room, Lin Fei was shocked. The person outside was actually an expert. His complexion was much better than before, but his face was filled with worry. Luckily you're here. The expert heaved a sigh of relief, as if what he had expected did not happen. What do you mean, I'm here? Lin Fei didn't understand what he meant when he opened his mouth. What are you standing there for? Come with me. Zhang Fenglin is bringing people towards you. They want to harm you. Stay away for a while. The expert was usually carefree, but he knew what was worth doing at crucial times. Lin Fei's strength had increased rapidly, reaching the 4th heavenly layer of the martial path. Against Zhang Fenglin, who was at the 5th heavenly layer of the martial path, it was obvious that he was no match for him. In terms of Xian Qi capacity, Lin Fei could easily exhaust Lin Fei to death. Furthermore, Zhang Fenglin had a Xian Qi cultivation technique. Lin Fei finally understood what was going on. A strange smile appeared on his face. Why are you still laughing? That brat Zhang Fenglin isn't so easy to deal with. Don't be so stubborn. The expert's expression changed again, and he couldn't help but scold Lin Fei. The expert was well aware of Lin Fei's temperament. He was worried that Lin Fei would get hot-blooded and end up facing Zhang Fenglin. It would be normal for him to lose his cultivation. That was the only thing the expert was worried about. Senior Brother Gao, do you trust me? Lin Fei suddenly asked. The expert was flabbergasted, not understanding what was going on. He looked towards Lin Fei. Of course I believe you. Lin Fei smiled. Then that's it. Zhang Fenglang is strong, but I have been training hard these few days. I might not lose to him. If I leave today, there will be a second time. I can hide for the first time, but I can't hide for the fifth time. Do I have to fear him in the future? Then how can I become a true martial artist? The expert subconsciously slapped his head, annoyed and hesitant. He didn't know what to do. He hoped from the bottom of his heart that Lin Fei could leave and hide for the time being. The latter sentence touched him deeply. Martial artists should press forward, not retreat, not hide, and face difficulties head-on. That was how a martial artist should be. Lin Fei didn't rush him. Instead, he waited patiently. Junior Brother's words make sense. Senior Brother is a martial artist. I almost threw the profound meaning of martial arts to the back of my mind. The expert's brows relaxed as he laughed. Zhang Fenglang is nothing. With us brothers here, we can beat him. Two fists can't fight four hands. What's there to be afraid of? Lin Fei, get the hell out here. Zhang Fenglang was just like the rumors. He had always been domineering and arrogant. No wonder he looked down on people like Lin Fei who won by accident. Whether it was the family disciples or the grassroots disciples, they all had different attitudes at this moment. The family disciples hoped to see Lin Fei being trampled on by Senior Brother Zhang Fenglang today. They wanted to redeem themselves from the slap they had suffered a few days ago. They wanted to use their strength to tell everyone that the family disciples were not something that the poor disciples could compare to. They wanted to get as far away from them as possible. The poor disciples were different. They hoped that Lin Fei would once again explode with a shocking potential and injure Zhang Fenglang. Although everyone knew that Lin Fei was a disciple of a great clan, it was a pity that in the divine martial sect, ordinary disciples of great clans were better off than Lin Fei. After defeating Zhang Zhongshan, he was directly pulled into the ranks of commoner disciples. Lin Fei, did that brat run away? Why would he run? He can run, but the temple can't. Of course he's afraid. If Senior Brother Zhang Fenglang is here, Lin Fei is nothing. The outer disciples finally had a place to vent their anger. They couldn't wait for Lin Fei to show himself. Chapter 30. Lin Fei's location was a little more secluded. No one dared to say anything when Zhang Fenglang brought his men over. If they were caught in the crossfire, they would still be the unlucky ones. Whose dog is barking? Hurry up and pull it back before it starts barking outside. Just when everyone thought that Lin Fei wouldn't come out and choose to be a coward for the rest of his life, an arrogant voice rang out. Arrogant, too arrogant. Zhang Fenglang's face turned green. The door opened and someone came out. Lin Fei and the master walked out leisurely. Lin Feng's tone wasn't polite, treating some people like cats and dogs. To some people, this was undoubtedly a good thing. What kind of person was Zhang Fenglang? As mentioned before, he was an arrogant person who looked down on outer sect disciples who were weaker than him, not to mention a small character like Lin Fei. You're Lin Feng. Zhang Fenglang's face darkened as he stared at Lin Fei. It was this person who had caused the Zhang clan's younger brothers to have a hard time recently. It's just a nickname. I didn't expect Senior Brother Zhang to know it. I'm surprised, Lin Fei said lightly. I thought you, Lin Fei, had 3 heads and 6 arms, but now it seems like you're just SOSO. No wonder you injured Junior Brother Zhang Chongshan. Zhang Fenglang shook his head in disappointment. Those who knew Zhang Fenglang well knew that he was angry and the consequences would be severe. If Senior Brother Zhang is here for this matter, feel free to speak. I, Lin Fei, will take care of everything. Lin Fei didn't hold back either. Lin Fei would never be courteous to anyone who came knocking on his door. It did not matter who the other party was, even if it was the Emperor himself. Junior Brother, you're really brave. Zhang Fenglang's tone changed. But you've gone too far by injuring my junior brother. If you kneel down now, say that you're trash, and repent in front of Junior Brother Zhang Chongshan, I can promise you that everything that happened before will be forgotten. What a smart plan. Hearing this, everyone's expression changed. At this moment, There were a few people in the outer court that had been paying attention to the movements in the arena. Brother Zhang is good at scheming. This time, Lin Fei has no choice but to make a choice. If he offends Zhang Fenglang, his fate will be miserable. I really don't know what kind of luck this guy has to raise his strength to the 4th stage of the martial path. His deep voice was tinged with jealousy and anger. In the past, Lin Fei molested Luo Zian. Fortunately, the Lin family made a decision early and gave up a lot of benefits. Otherwise, even if Lin Fei didn't die, he would become a piece of trash. How could he stay in the Divine Force sect for 4 years and not dare to take a step back home? It is said that the competition of 5 years is about to begin. The Lin family is already destined to decline. If at this time there's news that Lin Fei, the trash, was beaten to death, I wonder what will happen? Zhang Zhongshan's complexion was very bad. Clearly, the injuries on his body were not that easy to recover from. When he mentioned Lin Fei's name, he had a belly full of anger that he had nowhere to vent. Ever since he woke up, Zhang Zhongshan didn't dare to go out. Everywhere he went, people talked about him. He couldn't accept those words. Brother Zhang is right. The Lin clan is destined to begin its decline. In the large competition that happens once every 5 years, if the Lin clan does not have a genius disciple, its power will be greatly affected. I believe that City Lord Luo is very willing to close one eye and completely remove the Lin clan from the list to vent the resentment from before. Li Xiao didn't look outstanding, but his aura was very cold, like a poisonous snake in the darkness. Senior Brother Zhang, what do you think I should choose? Lin Fei smiled. The experts beside him subconsciously looked at him, advising him not to be impulsive and not to fall into the other party's trap. It was obvious that Zhang Fenglang came with evil intentions. Zhang Fenglang laughed, looking down on Lin Fei. Of course I'll do as Senior Brother says. I don't think Junior Brother Lin Fei will reject my good intentions. You have to understand that you're at the 4th heavenly layer of the martial path, and I'm at the 5th. As your senior brother, it's only right for me to remind you. Lin Fei was silent for a moment. Then he suddenly cursed. Choose your ass. I'll choose your whole family. Good, very good. This is your choice. Zhang Fenglang never liked to use peaceful means before resorting to force. To deal with small fries, it was better to use force. Since you injure my junior brother, you should take a blow from me. Hearing this, everyone's expression changed. The 5th sky of the martial path was not only about Xian arts. Xian arts were better than the 4th sky of the martial path. Xian arts could be changed at will without any flaws. Senior brother, you don't have to be so polite. I have just learned a Xian art recently. Please give me some pointers. Lin Fei's answer was also unexpected. This unexpected answer was not the end. Lin Fei took a step forward. His eyes shone like torches, and he gave off a powerful aura. Although this aura was somewhat shaky compared to most of the outer sect disciples, it was still somewhat certain. Provocation, it was definitely a provocation. Zhang Fenglang's expression changed again. It was obvious that he was angered by Lin Fei. The strength of the 5th sky of the martial path was not very strong, but in the outer sect, how could Lin Fei be a match for him? Lin Fei was clearly overestimating himself. The surrounding disciples dispersed, making an empty space. Lin Fei, be careful. Don't force yourself. The expert patted Lin Fei's shoulder. Don't worry, I won't be reckless. After all, I only have one life. There won't be a second one. Hearing this, the expert was completely confused. Broken jade hand. Lin Fei let out a roar. His body flickered as he floated in the air. His left and right hands suddenly turned green and emitted a cold light. A powerful aura was emitted from his hands. Once this Xian art appeared, the crowd's expression changed again. Lin Fei had learned the broken jade hand in a short period of time. When he used it, an earth-shattering aura could be felt. Many people sucked in a breath of cold air. What the hell? How could you have learned the broken jade hand? Zhang Fenglang's expression changed. This yellow-ranked Xian art required a certain level of comprehension. There were some parts that needed to be personally explained by someone because he had learned the Xian art before. A yellow-ranked Xian art that could not be mastered in a short period of time came from Lin Fei's hands. This was not a small blow. It was no less than a slap to their faces. Zhang Fenglong's expression did not change when others learned this Xian art. Only this brat, Lin Fei, was starting to suspect that this guy was enlightened. Haha, I have comprehended it well. Fight me if you dare. Oomph. You want to use the broken jade hand to humiliate us? You, Lin Fei, are gravely mistaken. Chapter 31. Low-grade yellow class Xian attack, broken jade hand. A low-grade yellow class Xian art. In terms of mastery, Zhang Fenglang was not worried that Lin Fei, who had just started learning Xian arts, would be his match. A yellow-grade Xian art was a powerful one in the eyes of outsiders. It was much more powerful than other Xian arts, and its mastery was not something that ordinary Xian arts could compare to. When Lin Fei used a yellow-grade Xian art, Zhang Fenglang was at most surprised, but he was not worried that he would not be able to deal with Lin Fei. In terms of mastery, Lin Fei was even more inferior. How could Lin Fei be his match? It had been more than a year since Zhang Fenglang had learned this mystic art. Lin Fei using this mystic art was like trying to show off in front of his ancestor. It was like he was trying to hang himself, seeking death. Broken jade hand, soft within the hardness. Junior brother Lin Fei, when did you learn a yellow-grade Xian art? No wonder you are so confident. It seems like what happened last time was a big blow to you. When the expert saw Lin Fei attack, he immediately retreated. When he saw Lin Fei use the Xian art, he was even more shocked. He did not expect this result. Yellow-grade Xian art. It was worth 20,000 gold, and even a commoner could not afford it. Other than those from the big clans, a mere fourth sky of the martial path cultivates a yellow-grade Xian art, which was above the first-rate Xian art. The expert was originally worried, but after seeing Lin Fei's performance, he let out a long sigh of relief. At the same time, facing Lin Fei, who was getting stronger, the others were all dissatisfied. For example, Zhang Zhongshan and Li Xiao. How could this be? How could that brat Lin Fei learn a yellow-grade Xian art? Back then, when I was practicing the Xian art, I had Big Brother to guide me. It took me a lot of effort to learn it. Zhang Zhongshan's eyes were wide open, and his face was full of disbelief. If it was anyone else, they would not believe it. Everyone knew that yellow-class martial arts were divided into upper, middle, and lower grades. The upper grade was the hardest to cultivate, and it required a certain level of comprehension. Although the lower grade did not require much comprehension, it was not something an ordinary person could cultivate, and it required a certain amount of guidance. It was easy to imagine how the abandoned son of Lin Fei's family could learn it in such a short period of time. It was simply inconceivable. Brother Zhang, there's no need to worry. So what if he learned a yellow class cultivation method? I reckon he hasn't even reached the minor accomplishment stage. How can he display its ultimate power? Don't forget, a yellow class cultivation method requires the support of Xian Qi. Do you think that Lin Fei kid can reach the fourth heaven of martial path with his heart cultivation method? Li Xiao didn't seem to care, but he felt very uncomfortable in his heart. In their eyes, Lin Fei was a piece of trash. He had a powerful family background, yet he was in such a miserable state in the Divine Force sect. He was simply a disgrace to them. Hearing this, Zhang Chongshan's pale face recovered a lot. The broken jade hand against the broken jade hand had become a good show. Everyone was shocked to see a yellow class cultivation method being displayed. It might be able to comprehend something and increase one's combat power. This had happened many times. Guys, who do you think will win between the two? Of course it will be senior brother Zhang Fenglang. His strength has reached the fifth heaven, and Lin Fei has caught up. How can he be a match for him? Even if he has practiced the broken jade hand, so what? Senior brother Zhang Fenglong's broken jade hand is obviously more powerful than his opponent. I guess it must have reached the great accomplishment stage. A great accomplishment yellow class cultivation method is comparable to a middle class yellow class cultivation method. Lin Fei didn't use anything else but this cultivation method. He deserves to be unlucky. Trying to show off in front of an expert is asking for trouble. I think junior brother Lin Fei will regret it later. Of all the things he could have used, he just had to use the broken jade hand. Everyone's eyesight was not bad, and they could vaguely see the difference in Qianqi. One of them was light green, and it was obvious that he had just practiced it. The other was dark green, and it emitted a dangerous aura. Regardless of who practiced Qianqi, there would always be a few levels. First was the beginner level of Qianqi. It was equivalent to simple mastery. Its power surpassed ordinary Qianqi. Next was the small accomplishment in Qianqi. Qianqi could be used subconsciously, and the changes within could be completely used. Next was the great accomplishment stage. At this level, the power of Qianqi would increase by several times, and the profound hidden within would be easily grasped. The difference in Qianqi was reflected in the mastery of Qianqi. One was a beginner, while the other had a small accomplishment. It was obvious what would happen. There was no need to guess too much. Bam! 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 Zhang Fenglong's broken jade hand was like a howling gale. Every strike brought with it a violent aura. Even a boulder in front of him would shatter under such attacks. Under such violent attacks, Lin Fei was in a state of being beaten up, but there was still no sign of him being defeated. The outer sect disciples were all shocked. How could this be? Zhang Fenglong, who was at the fifth sky of the martial path, was unable to defeat Lin Fei with his broken jade hand. It was hard to believe. Senior brother Qianqi is only SOSO. It doesn't seem powerful. Take this. Lin Fei laughed out loud. Facing the violent jade-shattering palm attack, he managed to block all of them. He didn't seem to be injured at all. The spiritual monkey's movement technique moved once again, flashing left and right. He waved his hand and pressed down from above. The faint green color suddenly changed, creating a strong gust of wind. In the previous attacks, Zhang Fenglong had used up half of his power to suppress a stage for a martial artist. He had expended a lot of Qianqi, but when his palm landed, it felt like he had landed in the middle of the ocean. He was shocked. You've actually trained the broken jade hand to the small accomplishment stage? How did you do it? Although Zhang Fenglong was suspicious, he felt that Lin Fei's broken jade hand was not as good as his. Sooner or later, Lin Fei would be defeated. Either he would be heavily injured, or his Qianqi would be exhausted. When Lin Fei entered the small accomplishment stage from the small accomplishment stage, he was slightly shocked. Nonsense! If you can train it to the large accomplishment stage, why can't I? Later, I will use the broken jade hand to defeat you. Let's see what Zhang Zhongshan and the rest have to say then. Lin Fei sneered and pressed down with his palm. A buzzing sound came from midair, making people's scalps go numb. The real small accomplishment stage of the golden level. There was a hint of toughness in his palm. Zhang Fenglong was enraged. With a flip of his hand, he unleashed the broken jade hand. With one palm, he slapped Lin Fei's hand, while his other hand punched towards Lin Fei's lower abdomen from a strange angle. In an instant, Lin Fei was in danger. You know fist arts, I know fist arts too. Breathing out Qianqi, Lin Fei was slightly stunned. He immediately used the broken jade hand and used the Xian cultivation fist art. 8 Desolation Fist.